Good afternoon, Pippins fans, and welcome back to the Orchard for this Wednesday night game between the Yakima Valley Pippins and the Bend Elks. I'm Harmon Johnsen, your voice of the Pippins. Welcome into the pregame show. Last night, Yakima Valley got back on track after coming home from a 2-4 road trip. They get a win over the Bend Elks 5-2. It was a great pitching performance by 3 of the Yakima Valley arms and a little bit of timely hitting, as well as some stellar defense. The Pippins turned 3 double plays. Let's take a look at how the action went down last night with last night's recap.
Sense. Runner takes off. The ball's on the ground out towards short. Almeida going to go to second for 1. The relay on to first. Double play. Good way to erase the leadoff walk for Austin Dillon. Pippins defense turns their 14th double play of the year. Dillon's capable of some high strikeout numbers. 1-2. Instead, it's a slow chopper. Goes out to second for 1. Dragging the toe on to first. It's another double play. The Pippins have turned the twin killing twice. And that will get us out of the inning. Runner takes off. It's a foul tip. The throw down by Ramos. It's a good one. The tag applied, and he is out. Obville nabs another base runner. And the Pippins get out of that 2-out single. Line drive back where it came from, down into center field. The wave is on over at third by Coach Crustangel. Here's the throw from center field. The throw pulls the catcher out from home plate. And advancing to second, Nick Velasquez. Pippins strike first. Two one, driven into left field. This is going to go all the way to the foul pole. Sotomayor is going to score easily. Jay O'Neill chugs around third. He gets the wave. Daichi Furuhata with a 2-run double. Scratch that, he's only got 1. On the ground, not going to get the second one. Charging Almeida, throws on the run. The scoop by Sotomayor. Nice play by Levi over at first. First pitch squares to bunt. He drops it down to third. Jones fielding it. One play, it's to first. And Jay is out. Successful sacrifice for Jay O'Neill. He did his job perfectly. Sack bunting, 2 runners into scoring position with only 1 out. Goes out of that full windup, square to the plate with runners at every base. Daichi chops it back up the middle, stepping on the bag for 1. The throw on to first, the ball is dropped. Another run trying to come home to score. Sotomayor is in. Daichi moves on to second as the ball gets away. It cost the Pippins an out, but 2 come home to score. It's now 5-2 Yakima Valley in 7 days coming into that outing. 1-2, breaking ball, called strike 3. Ramos knew it immediately. What a pitch from Lopez. Not locked in. Francisco is, though. Here's a 2-2. Breaking ball, called strike 3 on the outer half. Lopez strikes out a pair in the 8th. An inning and a third for Cisco. We go to the bottom half of the inning. Pippins trying to add on to a 5-2 lead. John brings it plateward. Wave and a miss. Good response after the mound visit by Salsa. 1 away here in the 9th for the Pippins so far this year. 1-2 on the ground, might be a third double play. There's one, on to first. Levi down on the bag. The game is over. The Pippins turn a third double play to get back in the win column. John Witt closes off a 5-2 victory.
Our pregame coverage rolls right along. We'll talk to a member of the Pippins and get you starting lineups coming up in just a bit. Stick around. This is Pippins Pregame. I'm Harmon Johnsen here pregame, right as we're doing batting practice with Pippins head coach Kyle Crustangel. Coach, a 5-2 win yesterday. Walk me through that close win after a tough week on the road.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Austin Dillon set the tone, goes out there, gets in the 7th inning, 6 with zeros. Thought he threw extremely well. Pitch count was down. Definitely earned the 7th. Obviously got into a little bit of trouble. Luckily we had a 3-run lead built, kind of due to Daichi having a big hit down the left field line. Nice thing is you give up 2, 3-2, game feels close. Obviously go up and put a bunch of base runners, get a bunch of 90s, take 2 off an error from them. It was nice for a team to finally give us a little bit of a break. I feel like we kind of gave Edmonton several breaks from free passes and a couple errors, so nice that team gave us a break. But a great way to start a series with 5-2. But I thought relief pitchers, Francisco, Witt, obviously the tempo was set by AD. When pitching is elite like that and throw well, it's going to be a good day at the yard, and great series start for us in the Bend here at the Orchard.
Talk about Francisco for me. He's a spark in the dugout.
Yes, he is. He definitely someone we were missing up in Edmonton. I think it's easy to look at just what guys do performance-wise, which he's been great, the outings he's had. But the energy, the dugout, the looseness, everything he brings is exactly what you want in a teammate. Keeps guys extremely loose, keeps the dugout loose, brings the energy. His positivity is felt all over the squad. It was nice to see him back in our dugout.
Good to have Francisco back. You get out to the yard today. It's warm. It's not very breezy. It's kind of uncomfortable compared to what we've started the year off with. How do you go out there and get a series win today?
Yeah, I mean, it's hitter's weather. I like the weather. I'm more of a 100-degree guy, so it's still a little bit cool. But, the ball's going to be flying. Definitely pitchers got to keep the ball down. Defense got to make plays. And offense, nothing more than you like than a no-wind, nice Yakima dry heat where the ball flies. So I think for us offensively is just get our 90s, consistent at bats. The more quality at bats you stack on top of each other, the more guys are on base consistently, the more shots you have to score runs. So I just want to keep giving these fans free Taco Bell gift cards every time they leave the Orchard.
Who do you have clicking tonight here for the team?
Yeah, I thought about this all day since yesterday, who my pick to click was. And, today's one of those days where I'm going to flip the question and ask you, Harm, who's our pick to click today for the Pippins? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, you put me on the spot here right before the interview. You were doing the interviewing, and I was the interviewee. We've got Jake Cumming on the mound tonight. I think he's going to go have another good start. He had a really good start down in Ridgefield, and he was kind of a surprise to start the year. You saw his walk to strikeout numbers at his school, but he came here. He's been electric on the arm. Do you agree?
I do. I completely agree. He's got a great mindset. He's seasoned. He's been in this league. He has a lot of college innings. I think as I've gotten to know how smart he is on the mound, his IQ, he's got very clean mechanics, very repeatable, and really a guy that just needs to be comfortable. He's very comfortable here. Likes throwing to Ramos. He gets Ramos because Parker's dinged up, but I think it's a great pick to click. And I've really enjoyed him and look for him to go out there and just be consistent on the bump and give us a quality outing, which is a shot to take a series tonight.
All right, third appearance for Jake Cumming tonight. Coach, good luck.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Starting lineup's coming up next. This is Pippins pregame. And now it's time for the starting lineup for your Yakima Valley Pippins, as announced by Pippins head coach Kyle Crustangel. Leading off and playing left field, number 3, Tyson Miller. Batting second and playing third base today, number 26, Daichi Furuhata. Batting third, the first baseman, number 17, Nick Velasquez. Batting cleanup, the right fielder, number 15, Luis Garcia. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 5, Abel Ramos. Batting sixth, the center fielder, number 7, Jay O'Neill. Batting seventh, the shortstop, number 16, Derek Almeida. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, number 27, Garen Guler. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 6, Cole Hubka. Again for the Pippins, Miller, Furuhata, Velasquez, Garcia, Ramos, O'Neill, Almeida, Guler, Hubka. Jake Cumming will be on the mound for the Pippins. We'll give you his stats when we come back for first pitch. That's the starting lineup. This has been Pippins pregame. Stay tuned for the start of the game.
Two and two. Ellis needs to dial one in. Tension building here at Yakima County Stadium. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Ball game over. 2-1 victory. Pippins over Sweets.
First pitch, a high drive out towards right. Back goes Chavez. He's looking up. Bye-bye baseball. Grand slam. Dylan Anderson. Bring him home and touch them all. He's been here all summer, and it finally pays off.
That was all we needed. 2-1, the final score, and we get ready for fireworks as a happy bunch. Welcome back to the Orchard, Pippins fans, as the Pippins go for a series win against the Bend Elks here on a very warm Wednesday afternoon. I'm your voice of the Pippins, Harmon Johnsen. It's so glad to have you back here again on a Wednesday night. It is warm. We'll get into weather conditions in just a moment. But for now, we're going to take a momentary pause and honor our nation with the playing and the singing of our national anthem. I'll rejoin you to get your pregame finalized. We'll be right back here at the Orchard.
Caitlin goes to Yakima Valley College and is part of the Yakima Symphony Chorus, and tonight she presents our nation's anthem.
Beautiful rendition of our nation's favorite song as we get set for baseball here in Yakima, Washington. Again, welcome back to the Orchard. I'm Harmon Johnsen, your voice of the Yakima Valley Pippins. Weather today here at the Orchard, it's a little bit warmer, 82 degrees at last check, wind blowing at around 16 miles an hour. Still going to be breezy out towards right. No chance of precipitation tonight. Humidity sitting at just under 20%. Red flag conditions still exist here in the eastern side of Washington. Actually, there was a fire up north of here around Selah, between Selah and Ellensburg, that actually shut down the interstate for a few hours this morning, but the conditions, I think, are being contained on that wildfire. Nothing going to affect the game tonight as we've got clear skies here at the Orchard. The Bend Elks will send up Eli Pupo, Will Cahill, and Jackson Murphy to face Jake Cumming, making his first home start of the year. The right-hander from Fernley, Nevada, last attended Coppin State. He is 1-1 on the season, making his third start. He's pitched in 10 innings, a 1.80 ERA. He's only given up 2 earned runs over those 10 innings of work. Strikeout to walk ratio sitting at just over 2-1, as he has 13 punchies to 6 walks. Jake looking to lock down the Elks offense again, just like Austin Dillon did last night. For Alan Cox and company, they come in still scuffling on the road, 0-7 in this West Coast League season away from their home ballpark, Vince Guinness Stadium in Bend, Oregon. They do have 4 home wins, which gives them to 4-9 on the season. Just a tough start to the year for the Bend Elks, who were a playoff team last year, qualifying and hosting the first game in the postseason for them in about 5 years. They got to host game 1 of the 3-game series and beat the Corvallis Knights before going on
and dropping the next two at Goss Stadium. John Kemp takes his spot over at third base in the coaching box. The Pippins and the Elks for Game 2 about to get started here at the Orchard. Abel Ramos back behind the dish for the Pippins. An energizer keeps the heart and soul alive out on the field, playing fast, playing loose, and ready to go to catch the hard-throwing Jake Cumming. Looks like we're going to get started right on time. Eli Pupo digs in. The lefty takes the first pitch outside. 6:34 p.m. here in the Palm Springs of Washington. Decent crowd on hand as well tonight, despite the warmer temperatures. Coming now even in the count, 1-1. Most of them huddled up over in general admission in the shade, and that shade will slowly creep its way across the field as we move throughout the night. That one got away from Ramos. 2 balls and a strike. Eli Pupo in his second season with the Bend Elks, batting this year at a .240 clip after hitting .556 in his 2 games last year at Vince Skinna Stadium, fouling this one out of play, 2-2. Weather conditions here at Yakima, 84 degrees, clear skies, wind blowing from left to right out towards the Jersey Mike's party porch. 2-2. Pupo slowly out towards Daichi, cannot handle it over at third. Likely an error there by Daichi, as the first chance for the Pippins defense after they turned 3 double plays last night allows a man on base. Daichi very rarely allows errors over at third, but it's been a while since he's had a tough hopper like that on his natural playing surface here at home. A lot of his experience coming on those turf fields in Ridgefield and Springfield and in Edmonton. Cumming misses downstairs to Will Cahill. Cahill, so far this season, batting .286 with Bend, making his 4th appearance. It's a completely different lineup than yesterday. Only 2 players that were in the starting lineup yesterday are batting today, as here's a shot out towards center field. Jay O'Neill will settle under it, and there's out number 1 here in the first frame. Pupo's still over at first. This will bring up Jackson Murphy. Murphy, another left-handed stick. From Fresno, California, Jackson Murphy is playing in only his 2nd game as a Bend Elk. Pickoff over to first. Plenty of time for Pupo to get back. The order yesterday, like I said, only 2 players returning from the starting batting order yesterday. They're in the bottom third. Troy Sanders bats 7th today, and Braden Jones bats 9th, just like he did yesterday. Everybody else is different. I guess a luxury of having a deep bench is you can play a lot of players, but you got to wonder how much in a rhythm these guys that sat yesterday are going to be today. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jake's been known to hit around 92 with the fastball, around 82 with the changeup. He'll mix in a breaking ball as well that'll dip into the high 70s. So coming with definitely a range of velocities. 1-1 just missing at the bottom of the zone. Moves the count to 2-1. Henry DeJesus is the home plate umpire tonight. He was in the field last night. His partner Kyle Sisk stands in the B position currently out in the field of play. 2-1. That one left upstairs. He did not swing. So the count goes to 3 balls and a strike. I mentioned it in the pregame when Coach Krusty and I were talking about who was going to click tonight. The walk-to-strikeout ratio looks really good for Cumming right now. He's been known in the past to have some issues. That's ball 4. Ramos a little bit confused on the spot of that one. 2 aboard, only 1 away Cumming not getting either corner so far in this outing. Jordan Ortiz, the catcher, will bat now. Pippins defense behind Jake Cumming, Tyson Miller in left, Jay O'Neill in center, Luis Garcia in right, Furuhata, Almeida, Hubka, Velasquez on the infield. Of course, Obville doing the catching for Jake. Similar defense to yesterday, other than you insert Hubka to second and Velasquez moves to first. Jake misses upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Noticeably tighter zone tonight from Henry DeJesus to Kyle Sisk. A lot of pitches trying to nibble at the edges for Jake. He's going to get that call. 1-1. For a pitcher, you want to try to live on the edges. You don't want to throw anything over the middle quadrants, but sometimes you just got to fire one in and hope the hitter's not ready in a situation like this where you're still figuring out where the strike zone is. And that's true for almost any first inning that a pitcher throws. There's the breaking ball from Jake. It was at 79, but it stayed upstairs. Ortiz from San Jose does not have a hit yet in his 2 games for the Elks. He is 0 for 5. Just underway here in Yakima. This is a foul ball off of the foot of Jordan Ortiz. So the count moves to 2-2. Cumming looking for a second out as Kyle Sisk going to investigate the baseball. Pippins wearing that same uniform combination like they did last night during the 5-2 win. It's the cream tops with the green pants, green lids to go along with that as well. Maybe the look's starting to grow on me. I don't know. The jury is still out on the decision here. 2-2, Cumming got him on the outer half. Jake went right after Jordan Ortiz. There's 2 away here in the first. Mason Elrod, who was actually the first base coach last night on offense for Bend, digging in to face Cumming. Elrod batting 143 with Bend, playing in his 9th game. Elks have 2 runners aboard. There's 2 away now as this breaking ball left upstairs by Jake. 4 hits for the first baseman, Elrod. None for extra bases, though. The Elks last in the WCL in extra base hits. They come scuffling into this game 4-9 on the season. Another high slider from Jake Cumming. It's 2-0. Elrod only with 1 run driven in. He's got potentially 2 out on the base paths. Pupal at first after the leadoff error. Jackson Murphy drew a walk with 1 out. And that's where we stand right now. 3 balls and no strikes now is Cumming in danger of issuing a second walk. Not the worst thing yet. You do have a base open at third, but Isaac Pfeiffer, the designated hitter, waits on deck. 3 balls and no strikes. Here it comes. Just down and away. Cumming issues a second free pass. Not missing by much is Jake. But the zone notably tighter tonight compared to last night with Kyle Sisk behind the plate. That's just something the pitchers are going to have to adjust to. Out of the windup is Jake for this first pitch to Pfeiffer at 90 for a strike. Isaac Pfeiffer attending Portland, batting 190 with the Bend Elks here in his 8th game. On the ground foul past first base. That was dangerous. Pfeiffer almost kept that in near the bag.
Velasquez knew it was foul, though, and quickly Jake Cumming gets ahead 0-2. You'd like to see a strikeout here and Cumming get out of the inning. Here comes the 0-2. Just missing with the fastball, 1-2. Jake continues to try to work that outer half, staying away from the right-handed hitters. One-two breaking ball. That was left upstairs by Jake. 2-2. Pitch count rising for Cumming. Sitting around 25 pitches in this first inning. He's had to work hard. Austin Dillon wins 6 2/3 last night. 2-2, rope down the line. If it's fair, it's trouble, and it's fair. One run comes home. Here comes the second. The ball goes underneath the fencing, and they're going to send the last runner back to third. Elrod will not score. There's a little bit of a gap out there that Tyson Miller saw the ball go underneath. Now Kyle Sisk is going to go investigate. As it stands right now, it's a ground rule double, and that's the call. So Pfeiffer held up to 2 bags, but the Elks score first. 82 off the bat, a changeup in the zone from Cumming. And so the Elks already matching their run total from last night. First pitch here to Troy Sanders, one of the 2 hitters that hit last night for the Elks. In that game, he went 1 for 3, grounded into a double play, popped into an infield fly, and singled back up the middle. Cumming trying to limit damage here in the first. Out of play foul, it's 0-2. Good to see Jake get back ahead. The problem, though, has been finishing hitters off. Cumming so far struggling with finishing at bats. 0-2, he blew a fastball in there at 93. Ramos was ready to head back to the dugout. Henry DeJesus said it was low. So the count now 1-2. Jake thought he had a pretty good pitch. He's going to have a better one here. That one's upstairs. The fastball dancing all over the place right now for Jake. Getting ahead has not been the hard part for Cumming. Finding that third strike has been the difficulty. On the ground, he might get some help from his defense. Almeida sends it across, and the inning is over without any further damage. But the Elks score 2 in their opening frame, and the Pippins will have some work to do when they come up to the plate for the first time in the bottom of the inning. Welcome back to the Orchard. It's the bottom of the first inning. Pippins have Tyson Miller, Daichi Furuhata,
and Nick Velasquez due up first. Thrift night tonight, so some thrifted items being used in the clothing race. And a familiar face on the mound for the Yakima Valley Pippins to see. It's Trevor Kaiser, who was with the Pipps for majority of the season last year. Did not pick up a win in his starts and did not pitch much at Oregon State, where he was a freshman. In fact, there are the numbers from his March 31st game against UW. 1 1/3 innings, a 6.75 ERA, and 1 strikeout for Trevor. And so Kaiser comes back to the Orchard, this time as a visitor, wearing that Bend gray uniform. And Tyson Miller will be the first one to greet the former Pippin. Tyson leading off again tonight, batting .406 on the season. Let's see how he greets the former Pip. Just a bit upstairs, 1-0 from Kaiser. So it's going to be a battle of velocity tonight. Trevor last year showed off his electric arm coming out of the high school ranks, touched 90. That first pitch that went over the head of Ortiz was 90. It's a matter of who's going to be able to control the zone better. 2-0 as Kaiser misses high with both pitches. That was a theme of Trevor's starts last year, was a high walk total. I believe he went 0-8 with the Pippins, partly due to run support, partly due to a little bit of his own demise. And so we'll see if the Pippins are patient against the hard-throwing righty, who has something to prove this summer if he's headed back to the Beavs. 2-2, that one nibbled the outer half. Tyson going to have to protect early on in a count here. Kaiser brings it plateward. Tyson a half swing. Did he go? No. Kyle Sisk not really in the greatest spot to see the check swing from the lefty. I don't think he went either way. Count runs full immediately to Tyson. Payoff is inside, ball 4. There's a good start for Yakima Valley after giving up 2 in the first part of this game. The Pippins have the tying run already at the plate. Defense for the Bend Elks, a little different than yesterday. You got Cahill over at third, Pupo in center, Murphy in right. Jones, Goodman, Sanders, Elrod left to right on the defense infield, and then Ortiz doing the catching for the Bend Elks. Daichi had 3 RBI last night, including a 2 RBI double. A breaking ball here from Trevor Kaiser starts him off 0-1. So with Daichi's couple of hits last night, or a couple of RBI rather, he's now up to 22 hits on the season and 13 runs driven in. Tyson takes off. The pitch is downstairs. The throw from Ortiz is a little bit off the line, and Tyson Miller steals second base. What's the call here? Henry DeJesus is moving Tyson back to first. What could the call have been? Tyson moves back to first base. Coach Crestangel wanting to find out the reasoning for that ruling. I'd like to know the reasoning too. Apparently the answer is in. Well, that just means Tyson's going to have to steal the next pitch. Count is 1-1. Daichi swings through as the bottom drops out of that 81-mile-an-hour pitch, 1-2. That's a little bit defeating if you're Tyson Miller. Had the base stolen pretty well. Now they chase him back to first. He was in standing. Daichi still trying to contribute from the 2-hole. He's been one of the best 2-hole hitters in the West Coast League. There goes Tyson. Daichi puts it on the ground. They stay out of the double play. Jones fires it on to first, and there's one away. Daichi with a productive out. Man in scoring position, one away. That's a good reason to run when you're nobody out, one out, to try to stay out of that double play. Tyson was already 3/4 of the way to the bag by the time that Jones had the ball.
So Nick Velasquez trying to answer back from the 2 runs that Bend gave up, or Bend scored rather, in the first frame. Wind blowing favorably for him with the left-handed stick up. Kaiser's been missing on that glove side so far today. Missing into lefties, out to righties. We saw it a bunch with Tyson at the plate when he drew that walk. Another changeup as the bottom drops out again. So there's some good movement out of that right arm from Trevor Kaiser on his off-speed stuff. The question will just continue to be, is he around the zone? There's a strike to Nick. Fastball at 89. For Velasquez on this season, he is batting .275, but he has 13 driven in on 14 hits. Just missing down and in. 3 balls and a strike. Pippins in a hitter-friendly count again. You'd love to draw a walk or put runners at the corners here ahead of Garcia, who has been on a tear as of late. Nick corks one deep out to right field. Going back Murphy. He's looking up, and we are tied. What a response from Yakima Valley, giving up 2 in the top half. They get him right back as Nick Velasquez sends his 3rd long ball over the fence. 372 feet. 98 miles an hour off the bat. Brand new ball game here in Yakima. Middle fastball from Trevor Kaiser. And that didn't even need the short porch out there and right. Garcia hits with the bases empty and the game tied. How about Nick Velasquez? Been a little bit hot and cold recently, but I'd say he's hot right now. Garcia hard on the ground. This is into left field with a yak hop. Friendly home field bounce for Luis Garcia. Pippins have a second hit, and they put another base runner on, trying to take the lead. Ramos, the catcher, batting now. Batting .297 for the Pipps. He's got 11 hits, including a double and a triple. He has 8 RBI. Kaiser pulls a 91-mile-an-hour fastball well outside. Nick Velasquez with home run number 3 on the season has us at a tie game. Luis takes off. Swing and a miss by Ramos. The throw down is in time to nab Luis. The tag thrown down right there by Goodman at short. Pippins run themselves into out number 2. So Ramos will bat with the bases empty now. Trying to spark a little bit of a 2-out rally. Slowly out to third. Jones has it. He delivers the throw across, and the inning is over. Yakima Valley responds and ties the game thanks to a 2-run home run by Nick Velasquez. To the second we go, all square at 2.
Everything's dropping on Pippins broadcast. Yeah, look, it's only on 2. The fucking point of sale people probably logged on to our
Is there any other option?
There might be an Ethernet port. Do you have Ethernet? Try the Welcome back to the Orchard. Second inning, we've got 2 runs on the board for each team. Pippins 2-on-2 hits. Elks 1-on-1 hit. The Pippins committed an error in that first inning, but Nick Velasquez responding immediately, not wasting any time tying this game. Pippins got those 2 runs on the 2 hits, no errors by the Elks, and nobody left on base. Jake Cumming goes back to work and immediately slides one in across the dry home plate area. They put a lot of water out there at home plate today to try to keep it from blowing around in the wind. Even count now 1-1. And so for the battery and for the umpire, hopefully the dirt stays a little more damp and doesn't fly into their gear. 2 balls and a strike now. It's just so dry here in Yakima that it's hard to keep anything, wet for a significant amount of time. Obviously, you don't want your baseball field to be overly wet because then it slows everything down, but you don't want it to be as dry as it is because then everything speeds up. 2-1, out towards right, drifting into foul territory. Luis gives it a look, but it is out of play. So 2-2 is the count. A lot of these even type counts for Cumming, with 1 strikeout and 2 walks so far today. Shot foul. Still 2-2. Crowd here a little more silent than it was last night, but Elks are on offense. Certainly don't want to provide too much energy for them. Popped up. Will it stay in the yard? No, it's going to head into the stands. Race for the baseball. Who's going to get it? And they're off, and there's the winner. Yeah, show that off. Cummings shakes off a couple pitches. Here's the 2-2. Called strike 3. 92 froze Will Goodman. 1 away for Braden Jones. Good location from Cumming. And now Braden Jones, who from Chehalis, Washington, attends Tacoma. We mentioned his numbers last night with the Titans. Played in less games this most recent season and batted .244. But the year before, played in 40 contests and batted .274. With Bend, Jones has been one of the more used players. This is his 11th game here in game number 14 for the Elks. He's batting .160, but he has drawn 10 walks. Not a walk here. Instead, it's out to Derek. The shortstop throws it across, and Nick stretches for out number 2. Back to the top of the order, Eli Pupo. Pippins' defense getting a little bit easier time here in the second frame. Pupo reached on the error by Daichi Furuhata back in the first frame and then came around to score on the double by Isaac Pfeiffer. Takes the first pitch for a strike there. Deuces all over the place here in the second inning. The score was the hit total as this is sent out and towards very shallow left. It's a fair ball. Big turnaround first, but Pupo will be content with a single. Ball gets away. Velasquez has to chase it down, and so a single and then call it a throwing error. A little bit sloppy by the Pippins, who threw the ball in. This was a dying quail out into left field. Almeida and Miller were both giving chase. It was Tyson who picked it up.
and just casually threw it into the bag. It went over top of Hubka. So it's an E7 that advances Pupo on to second. 2 errors committed here for the Pippins already. Jake doesn't mind it as he works ahead 0-1 to Will Cahill. Cahill flew out to O'Neill back in the first frame. Big wave and a miss, 0-2. Let's see if Cumming can find a third strikeout and make the fans out in right field happy. Fastball looks a lot better here in this second frame. How about that? Blew it right by him. Raised the K out in right field. Jake Cumming has 3 of them. 2 looking, and now his first one swinging. The Elks strand a man. They do not score after a hit and an error by the Pippins. We go to the bottom of the second. Yakima Valley trying to take the lead. Welcome back to the Orchard, Pippins fans. Let's take a look around the West Coast League here on your Wednesday afternoon. The Elks, of course, here in Yakima, but Nanaimo taking game 1 from the Corvallis Knights last night. Marion is over in Walla Walla. The Sweets won 15-7 last night. Victoria hosting a non-league game against the Redmond Dudes. Portland is hosting Ridgefield after losing last night. The Riverhawks and the Apple Sox played a game already today. Edmonton was actually the home team in that contest up in Wenatchee because of a rainout. Drifters in a non-league game, and then Bellingham at Port Angeles, rather. Jay O'Neill is the batter for the Pipps after they sent 5 men to the plate and got 2 runs to get back into the contest. 0-2 quickly. O'Neill batting .194 with the Pipps. Has 2 doubles, though. 0-2 pops away from Ortiz. Kaiser's been slowly reducing his velocity. Started the day at 92, but that one was in there at 88. 1-2. Jay didn't bite. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. O'Neill with good contact to every field in his limited hits. Only 7 of them, but he can spray it everywhere. He's going to send one out to right. Jay's watching this one go, and the Pippins have hit another. Yakima Valley has the lead as Jay O'Neill sends 1 yard. 354 feet off the bat. 93 exit velocity. 3-2 Yakima Valley. Well, we told you that it's hot, it's dry, the ball's going to fly today as Kaiser left another fastball in a spot where a lefty could get it. Pippins sticks coming alive. Jay hit his first home run of the season.
Now here's Derek Almeida. Almeida has a home run on the season. Pippins now with 3 runs and 3 hits. High chop out towards Jones. The third baseman records the first out. I was talking to Coach Crustangel before the game, and of course him being from this area for the last couple of years knows that when the air gets dry, the ball likes to fly out of this park, especially on a day like today where the wind comes from left field out to right. First pitch, a strike there to Garen Guler, getting his first action in a couple days. Pippins fans, be sure to stick around for the top of the 3rd inning. We're going to have a special guest scheduled to come join us, Josh Lewin, part-time broadcaster for the Orioles and a journeyman in Major League Baseball and the Big Ten, will be joining us here in the broadcast booth. 2-1 now to Garen. No, 1-2. Henry DeJesus clarifying the scoreboard was backwards. Hometown crowd cheering for the Natchez kid. Folks that foul out of play. I'm really excited to have a conversation with Josh. Got to talk to him before the game, and he's here enjoying a night off from the Major League circuit to enjoy some West Coast League baseball. Two and two now. Guler, the 8-hole hitter on the season, batting .219, but he has 7 hits. Just a high strikeout number for Garen, striking out more than 50% of the time. And there it is. Kaiser gets his first strikeout victim. Garen swings through it. So the number 9 hitter, Cole Hubka, will dig in. Pippins leading it now after the solo shot by Jay O'Neill to lead off the inning. Cole, a native of Wilsonville, Oregon. There's a slow breaking ball from Trevor Kaiser. Played at D3 Linfield this last year, batting .290 with them, but in his short time with the Pippins, 3 games, he has a .455 batting average. Another breaking ball. Kaiser left it downstairs, though. Pippins so far humming right through. I've got 3 runs through the first 2 innings as this is right back where it came from and into center field for a base hit. Cole Hubka stings it past Trevor Kaiser. 2 away, and the top of the lineup card comes back to hit. Take a look again at this hit by Cole Hubka. Just about as perfectly back up the middle as you can get it. Miller drew a walk and scored on the 2-run home run by Nick Velasquez. Good presentation by Ortiz, but it's ball 1. Tyson had to bail out of a couple of inside pitches during his first at-bat. Throw down to first, and Hubka back in plenty of time. Welcome to any of the Bend Elks fans who are trying to keep up with this game. The internet here at Yakima County Stadium keeps cutting in and out for our colleague down there. There's a base hit down the right field line all the way down to the foul pole. Hubka can fly around the bases. He's getting the wave from Krusty at third, and now a late stop sign. Tyson Miller with a double. Hubka stops at third. 2 men in scoring position for Yakima Valley with 2 outs. This was close. Krusty was about to gamble with it. Tyson kept it right on that foul line. A friendly bounce off the 16-foot wall for the right fielder Murphy.
And now as Daichi is announced to be the hitter, Ortiz is going to go have a chat with his right-hander on the hill. Pippins now with 5 hits on the board. They had 7 all of last night. Kaiser struggling a little bit with when he is in the zone. It's too much in the zone, and Pippins hitters are ambushing. But you can't just be wild either, otherwise you're going to walk the house full. A very fine line that Kaiser is teetering. As I was saying before the hit, welcome to any of the Bend Elks fans who are tuning in. Internet's being a pain in the butt here at the Orchard for our colleague Aiden O'Neill, the Bend Elks broadcaster. Big fan of Aiden. I enjoy talking with him here in this series. Can't wait to go down to Bend for the 4th of July over that weekend. So hopefully the Orchard's Wi-Fi and internet becomes favorable for Aiden so he can continue doing the good work he does. But while you're here, thanks for joining us. 1-0 on the ground over towards third. This is a little bit of an awkward play over there. And off the bag comes Elrod. The Pippins are going to score again. 4-2 Yakima Valley as the throw from Jones pulled Elrod off the first base bag. Daichi legs out an infield single, as they call it. Cole Hubka comes home to score to make it 4-2 Yakima Valley. Runners at the corners, and that first pitch just missed the bottom of the zone, according to Henry DeJesus. Tyson is the man over at third. And no, the scoring is actually an error. There's a friendly hop for Nick Velasquez. The Pippins are going to score again. Daichi chugs into third. Nick will stop at second. Nick Velasquez halfway to the cycle as the Pippins now lead 5-2. Miller scored easily. Daichi into third. Luis Garcia will continue this inning. All of this production coming with 2 outs. Give Velasquez an RBI. 2 more out there for Luis. Right over towards the Elks dugout. It's 0-1. Listening through the wall. Sounds like Aiden's got his broadcast up there. So if you don't want to hang out with us, you can certainly go over to the audio stream for Aiden O'Neill and your Bend Elks broadcaster. Luis swings and misses 0-2. But if you choose to stay here, we're glad you're here. Velasquez, a home run and a double. He's got 3 RBI already today. Oh, 2. Kaiser misses downstairs, 1-2. Good to see the sticks continue to be alive. Luis is the 8th man to hit here in the second inning. 2-2. Kaiser having a similar issue like Jake Cumming did, where he just cannot finish at bats. Two and two, 2 men in scoring position here in the second as Kaiser left that breaking ball upstairs. First base is open. Abel Ramos waits on deck. He would represent the 9th Pippin to hit in the frame. Payoff is upstairs, ball 4. Pippins will send 9 to the dish as they load the bases against Trevor Kaiser. It was a solo shot by Jay O'Neill that led off this inning, as we're going to get a mound visit by the Elks. It was a solo shot by Jay O'Neill that led off the frame. A ground out and a strikeout, and quickly the Pippins were down to their only out left in the second. And then you go single, double, error, double walk. All of this happening with 2 outs. And unfortunately for Trevor Kaiser, this is a lot of what he experienced last year with the Pippins. He'd get 2 outs quickly in an inning and then just would struggle to find the 3rd out. And so Kaiser labors hard here in this 2nd inning. He's up to 48 pitches. Bend has a couple of bodies down in their bullpen. Ramos went fishing for the first pitch he saw. 0-1. Abvel does have a triple in this ballpark. Looking for another big hit. 1-1. Ramos, the catcher, knows the strike zone pretty well. He and Henry DeJesus probably had a couple of conversations already behind the dish. Stung out towards right field. This is going back. Abvel bounces it into the short porch. 1 run is home. Here comes Nick. Here comes Luis. The Pippins clear the bases on an Abvel Ramos double. Another big hit for the Venezuelan here at the Orchard. I was waiting to see if maybe the wind would carry this into the short porch. Daichi and Nick both scored easily. Luis went right past the tag attempt by the catcher Ortiz. And now it's back to the man that started all the scoring for the Pippins with a solo shot earlier this inning, Jay O'Neill. Trevor Kaiser in a world of hurt here. 5 of the 6 runs being scored with 2 outs on the board. Kaiser's only issued 2 walks and struck out 1. It hasn't been a lack of control. Pippins hitters just ambushing the right-hander. Here's a deep drive by Jay. He has a home run already. Does he have another? Yes, he does! Jay O'Neill, 2 solo home runs here in the 2nd inning. The Pippins lead it. How about that? 10-2. That might be a first in West Coast League history this season. That might be a first in the West Coast League, period. Jay O'Neill, 2 solo home runs in the same inning. What a time to be a hitter here at the Orchard. Wave and a miss by Derek Almeida. Someone help me research that stat. Might have to get on the horn with Rob Nyer and figure out if that's ever happened in the West Coast League. 8 runs on the board for the Pippins. The inning's going to continue as Derek Almeida sends it into right field. The wheels have fallen off for Trevor Kaiser. And that looks like the end of his night. The Pippins put up 8 runs in this inning. They lead it 10-2. And we're still playing with Derek Almeida on at first base. We'll get you information on the new pitcher when we come back. What a night here at the Orchard. It's only the 2nd inning. Stick around.
Welcome back to the Orchard. It's the bottom of the second inning. There's 2 outs, and a new pitcher comes into the game. It is Malachi Boschart. But before we get into the inning and the last out that we need to get here for the Bend Elks, I'd love to welcome Josh Lewin to the booth here at Yakima County Stadium, a journeyman in the MLB and now out on the West Coast doing UCLA games and doing some commentary with the Baltimore Orioles. Thanks for spending some time off down here at Yakima County Stadium with us.
Pleasure, Harmon. Thank you for having me. What an inning that we're looking at here.
I know.
Is it like this all the time?
Well, you might not be allowed to leave after this inning that we have here. I'll just start with this. You've been multiple places in multiple different levels of this sport and other sports. Is there one memory that sticks out to you now that you get a chance to take a day off and relax inside a sport that you're so familiar with?
That's a great question. I mean, it might be like a million-way tie. I love being in a ballpark. I love being in, a big football situation on a college Saturday or an NFL Sunday. If there's fans that are into it, then there's no bad event. You know what I mean?
You grew up in New York, correct?
Mm-hmm. Upstate New York.
And you got your start in baseball, at least with the AAA team in Rochester.
I did.
Explain to me, as Garen Guler gets hit with that first pitch by Boschart, explain to me your journey getting into commentary and how that experience with the Red Wings shaped your future in the MLB.
Yeah, it's just something. This is exactly what I've always wanted to do, and kind of like you, where you're just trying to get your reps in and move on up the ladder and contribute to a sport that you love. So I was lucky that I grew up in a AAA city, so I was able to jump in right away.
First pitch upcoming here to Cole Hubka as he fouls this away. Is this your first trip to Yakima? You've got some family out in this part of the country.
Yeah, I've got kids in Seattle, and the Orioles are there, and I've got some time off. So visiting them, and my daughter and I decided to take a ride. I've never been to the Valley and never been to the stadium. I think it's awesome.
Hubka got a single earlier on in the second inning. He fouls that one away 0-2. Multiple different teams you've spent time with, but now with the Orioles. What is it like when you get a day like today to get a day off after the grind of everybody knows it's a 162-game season?
Yeah, and fortunately, I do get some days off. I mean, when I used to do this full-time, it is. You better love what you're doing. And it's a blessing to have the ability to still do this, but not do it every day. Because, when you have kids, obviously you want to spend some time with them too. And this is a very nice evening. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the ball's definitely flying tonight. It's hot. It's dry. It's that typical Yakima weather. There's a swing and a miss by Cole Hubka. We'll stay through the break and have this conversation with you.
Sure.
I know you've got a trip to get back to Seattle to prepare
Seattle's
for a game
a bit
tomorrow.
of a drive. Yeah, I found that out the hard way coming in, but my daughter's got the wheel, so I'm okay.
No issues getting in. There's a fire up north.
Yeah,
we
we took Canyon Road down, and it was a beautiful drive. I mean, I'd do that all over again. You probably had the same reaction coming out here. If you're from the Midwest, and it's like, okay, what are we looking at out here? It's gorgeous.
Yeah, my first experience with mountains, I was like, man, and I still don't get over them. But you've been all over the country traveling with MLB teams, a stint very shortly in the NFL, and now with UCLA. What's different from the Major League Baseball side, the pro side, and the college side that you still are involved in?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think it's still, even with the NIL and all of that, stuff that's made it so different lately, it's wholesome. Everybody's still learning and they're ripening. And I think the cement hardens a little bit once you get to the big leagues, and there is a difference. I mean, it's not to say that guys become divas necessarily or whatever, but there's a purity to the college game, and that's what you're seeing out here this summer.
How long did it take you to kind of break into that more full-time Major League Baseball job? For someone like me who's spending some time in the summers getting experience, what does that journey look like?
You're doing it exactly right. And I was so lucky that, like I said, I got to start in AAA. I would have loved to have spent a summer like this, but it was kind of like I didn't need to, so to speak. But I think I would have really enjoyed it a lot more, and make your mistakes, if you will, kind of iron some things out. I don't think I'd do it differently, but there's value to being in a great town like you have here, and fans that are passionate about it, and you get to know these players on a personal level. I'm sure it's a lot of fun too.
Jackson Murphy digs in, the lefty who walked back in the first inning to face Jake Cumming, who now has a very comfortable lead at 10-2. Chatting here with Josh Lewin. What does a day of preparation look like going into a major league game? Is it different from the start of the year to the end of the year? Just how do you prepare as there's a base hit out into left field by Murphy to start this inning?
It's I do it very similar to how you do it. I mean, I'm watching you do your prep, and the internet has leveled the playing field for all of us. All information is out there and available. It's just a matter of how deep you want to mine for it. But to me, there's no substitute for talking to the players, talking to the coaches. I mean, that's where you really get to know people. But anytime, statistically, everything's right there. You've got your laptop open. I do the same thing, and you're kind of figuring what's going to be on the exam, right? You got an oral exam for 3 hours a night, maybe 5 tonight, the way this one's creeping along. But you do what needs to be done, and then you just kind of let it unfold in front of you.
Jordan Ortiz, the batter, as our video crew here prepares to show a shot of the scoreboard. Certainly a big inning that we brought you in right at the back half in. What are ways that you get through some of those big innings, whether they're for your side or for the other side or in a neutral stance, because you've done some games on Fox as well? Yeah, it is different. I mean, if it's your team, I mean, as it is here, I mean, the Pippins are kicking some major butt, so you might as well enjoy it and, let people revel in it. But, when it goes against you, you better be ready to spin some plates and tell some stories. And that's the thing about the more you're in this industry, the more stories you accrue. Hit by pitch there is Cumming, loses control of that fastball, puts 2 aboard with nobody out. Jordan Ortiz, the man, will be at first. Mason Elrod will be the hitter. I saw somewhere you were involved in the XFL for a little bit as well in a podcast scenario. Is that correct? Yeah, they had me doing their content, so blogs and podcasts and stuff like that, and that was a fun year. I just love telling stories, so that takes many forms. I'm in the documentary space, the podcast space, whether it's the written word, the spoken word, there's just something about telling a good story. Is that in any way extremely different from the NFL? No. I was going to say you might have had a triple play there, but escaped your third baseman. Runs coming home to score. Daichi might be charged with his second error today. There's the broadcaster jinx. Ask a question as the ball's being thrown. So the Pippins allow a run to come home. It's now 10-3. That was literally a tailor-made triple play right there, too. You could. I wanted to get out of your way so you could call it, but didn't quite work out. NFL is different because you're preparing pretty much all week for just one game, and it inverts in baseball. You're preparing every day for a game every day. So it is. You're still putting in the work. You're still doing the research and talking to people, but your day planner looks a little different. First pitch, a wave and a miss. Pfeiffer did not want to swing at that pitch, but he did anyway. It's 0-1. What's the difference between television and radio? Some people don't realize just how maybe polar opposites that might be, especially in a game like baseball. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I'll let you describe the action here for a sec. 1-1. The TV thing is a bit of a monster. It's a big production. There's people in your ear. You're just kind of putting captions on a picture is all it is. And radio, as you know, you got to tell everybody everything. 1-1 popped up on the infield. Who's going to want it? Looks like Almeida, the shortstop, the captain of the infield diamond, makes the catch, 1 away. But, yeah, they're both enjoyable. But I think, for a storyteller, and I know you share this too, there's value and certainly there's money in TV. But, when you're just talking on the radio and you're making that one-on-one connection with somebody who's listening and they need you to be on point, I kind of like that. This is Troy Sanders. He grounded out to end the first inning. Sends one straight back into the screen. It's been a lovely night here tonight. Have you enjoyed what little bit of the game you got to see before you came up here? Yeah, no, it was, we've had a nice time just exploring downtown. And ironically, it's thrift night tonight. We were, kind of hitting some thrift stores on the way in because we love to do that and open some old packs of baseball cards. 0-2 now. Big swing by Troy Sanders. But, yeah, we're going to take off in a couple minutes here, but we've already seen 13 runs in 2.5 innings, so we got our money's worth tonight. And you got a GM that really cares and loves this place and is committed, so you guys are in wonderful shape here. Cumming looking for his 4th strikeout. He will get it.
his third looking tonight. There's 2 away. And before I let you go, any advice for young folks trying to get into broadcasting, trying to get to levels like you have reached in your career?
Yeah, I mean, do it like you're doing. I mean, just get out there, and there's no substitute for just getting your reps in and learning about the game and meeting people and just enjoying it and being yourself. You know, that's I tell people all the time. You got to be you, because that's the one unique thing you can bring into the booth. And I hope you're having fun up here this summer.
Certainly a lot of fun. We just got back from a trip to Edmonton, which was a flight, which is something I've never done in the West Coast League.
That's cool.
I don't think very many summer leagues or minor leagues anymore get the chance to experience that.
And I hope you enjoyed Edmonton, too. That's kind of a neat town.
0-1. That one, did it get the bat or the body? Looks like the body. It's a hit by pitch. Will Goodman, the shortstop, will be aboard. So the base is loaded for Bend. A little bit of trouble here. How do you get out of this?
Yeah, I mean, stop hitting guys would be number one. But no, I'm super impressed by everything you guys have cooking here. Didn't quite do the churro helmet, couldn't quite rally myself to do that, but the merch is outstanding. Bringing some of it to Seattle for the fellas. So,
do you have a favorite ballpark food?
Churros are right up there. That's for sure.
Pitch misses upstairs to Braden Jones, and that'll force a visit from pitching coach Ethan Salscheider. Well, Josh, it's been such a pleasure to have you in the booth.
You're
Good luck
sounding
on the
great, man. I
broadcast.
know. Well, keep in touch, and
Yeah.
you're on pace to score about 40 runs here tonight. So we'll follow the flight of it on the way out of here. But no, continued success to you and everybody with the Pippins. You guys run a great operation.
Well, thank you so much. We enjoyed having you here, and have fun up in Seattle.
Thanks, brother. I'd say go Nebraska, but I don't mean that.
UCLA Bruins broadcaster, Fox broadcaster, Orioles broadcaster Josh Lewin in the booth as we get a pitching change, or not a pitching change, a mound visit here. Got to take a picture with the man. Hopefully Jordan will give you my phone number. So, really enjoyed having Josh up here in the booth. It was a little clunky of an interview on my part, but when you've got runners all over the place, certainly a fun time here at the Orchard. Very much appreciate some of Josh's time. Know he's got to get back to Seattle and get back to work with the Orioles. Jake Cumming trying to get back on track with 2 outs here. He's fallen behind 3-0, and with the bases loaded, a walk would mean that a run would come home to score. 1 run already home. Pippins right-hander pitching with a 7-run lead. There's a strike. It bounces away from Ramos. Well, if it was anywhere else in the world, I'd be able to tune in to Josh on his call tomorrow, but being in Seattle, that likely means that they're going to be playing about the same time we are. 3-1. Now it's 3-2. Coming back on track. Needs 1 more out. What'll happen here with the full count and the bases loaded? Cumming misses ball 4. That was close. Hands on head for Jake Cumming. Cannot believe it. RBI walk for Braden Jones, and we go back to the top of the batting order for the Bend Elks as Jordan Ortiz comes home to score. Eli Pupo, as there you see where the pitch missed. 89 hummed in, 1-0. Again, so appreciative of some of Josh's time. Hopefully our paths will meet sometime again in the near future. 1-0, back up the middle, might be trouble. Derek is able to smother it and keep it close. Another run's going to come home to score, though, as he boots it out behind the bag. The Elks slowly creeping back into this one. 10-5 is the score. Actually, it's 10-6. That's what the scoreboard has out there in left field. I don't think that can be right because it's 2 runs in the first and 3. Well, no, it would be 4. 10-6. As what's the discussion here? John Kemp is saying something about the Pippins dugout, or to the Pippins dugout. 10-6 is the score. We're here in the top of the 3rd inning. Everybody hit the reset button. Our scoreboard says 11-6, but it is 10-6. I do know that for certain. First pitch nearly hits Will Cahill. Pupo was credited with a single in this 3rd frame that brought home a couple of base runners. Well, as Mr. Lewin was saying while he was in the booth, this is definitely the true summer ball experience. An 8 spot put up by Yakima Valley in the 2nd, a 4 spot put up by the Bend Elks. So far here in the 3rd, they're not done. This is their 9th hitter in the inning. Sent foul. It's now 1-2. Let's see if Cumming can find a way out of this. Messy scorecard tonight, everybody. One-two pitch on the way. Broken bat, shallow out toward second base. Hubka makes the catch, and the inning comes to a close. Bend scores 4. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Pippins lead it by 4, 10-6 here at the Orchard. Let's reset. We'll come right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Orchard. It's the bottom of the 3rd inning, and it's been a messy scorecard the last couple of frames. Yakima Valley got 8 runs on 7 hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base in the 2nd inning as they sent all 9 to the plate and then some. Bend just sent all 9 men to the plate, scoring 4 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on base. And sandwiched in between was a lovely interview with Josh Lewin, radio broadcaster for the Baltimore Orioles. Malachi Boschart is a right-hander, 6'3", 215 from Chino, California. He came in to get the final out of that 2nd inning. Trevor Kaiser forced out of this one as Tyson Miller, the leadoff man, is aboard for the 3rd time tonight. He picks up a single after getting a double back in the 2nd. So the hit parade continues. Pippins have 10 runs now on 10 hits. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the bottom of the 3rd inning. Say it one more time tonight. Again, very thankful for Josh Lewin's time. He was here with some of his family. They're on their way back to Seattle for the game tomorrow. This is all the way to the backstop. Tyson Miller will motor into second. Very wild pitch by Boschart. Something must be in the water. These pitchers having some issues tonight. Hitters thriving on a very warm Wednesday night. Daichi plunked. Fastball rode inside and got for Ahata. 2 on, nobody out for Yakima Valley. If you like offense, this is the game for you. Pippins lead by 4. They put up 8 runs the last time they were at the plate. Nick Velasquez, a home run and a double so far tonight. How about a deep drive out and towards right center field, Nick? He watches that fastball go by at the top of the zone. We've had everything so far in this game. Jay O'Neill hit home runs to lead off and then midway through the second inning. I asked for help during the half inning and on the air. According to the research done by my dad, who will be joining me in the broadcast booth a week from tonight, there has been 2 home runs in a single inning in the West Coast League, and it was done back in 2011 by Alex Abbott of the Cowlitz Black Bears. It was a game against the Kelowna Falcons. The Black Bears scored 10 times in the 6th inning of that game. Nobody for the Pippins has done it, according to his research. In fact, the Pippins have actually done it as a team, as Velasquez takes high and away for ball 3. This is according to his research, but no Pippins player, or any player other than Abbott, has hit 2 home runs in a single inning until tonight. Payoff pitch to Nick. Stays alive as he got it off his foot. Definitely not the fast start we had last night. We were through about 4 innings before the hour marker came by. We're now about an hour and 14 minutes in, and we're in the bottom of the 3rd. Payoff misses for ball 4, and the Pippins have the bases loaded with nobody out, looking for another big inning. This will bring up Luis Garcia, who's 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. He's also scored once. But in a 10-run game, there's really nobody who hasn't scored. Miller scored twice. Furahada scored once. Velasquez twice. Garcia once. O'Neill twice. This is a line drive down the right field line. Is it fair? No. Foul ball into the Elks bullpen. Hubka has scored a run down in the 9-hole as well. Big thanks to my dad for doing that research for me. Again, he'll be up in the booth with me on Wednesday of next week, so make sure you come tune into that. My parents will be out here for that whole midweek series, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to have some fun on the air. Luis now ahead in the count, 2-1. Tell you what, since I know my dad's watching, this is a score that he's more likely familiar with out in the Pecos League. They have kind of become known for having some high-scoring games in that league the last year or so. Garcia stings it out to right. Murphy settles. He'll range over and grab it. Miller tags from third. Daichi tags from second. The ball gets away from the cutoff man, Elrod. Everybody's safe after the sacrifice fly by Luis Garcia. Pippins get a run back. It's now 11-6. Time for Ramos to get in on the party. He does have a double that scored 3 runs. Well, I guess he's already in the party then. How about the third inning party for Obville? If you came out to the ballpark tonight or you're watching on the stream, you've been treated to 17 runs already on only 14 hits. 3 errors committed by the Pippins, 1 so far committed by the Elks. This will be quite the game to watch back, even through these first 3 innings. In off the hands. This is dying quickly into the Bermuda Triangle. Ranging back there is the shortstop, Goodman. Throwing back towards first. Getting off the bag is Nick Velasquez, and the Pippins are doubled up. Does the run score? And the answer is yes. The run scores before the double play is recorded. So it's 12-6. The Pippins lead it. But we go to the middle innings. Pippins leading by a half dozen. Well, the first 3 innings here at the Orchard were very crazy. As you take a look at that box score there, 12-6 is the score, 10-4 is the hit differential, 3-1 the errors. And now we go to the middle frames. Torrin Egge comes in to pitch for the Yakima Valley Pippins as they lead by 6. Egge from Whitman College making his second appearance for the Pippins after going 2 innings scoreless up in Edmonton. The third inning ended in wild fashion with back-to-back sacrifice flies. Nick Velasquez was doubled off over at first, but Daichi had come across the plate to score. First pitch hacking by Jackson Murphy, the right fielder, hitting in the 3-hole. Let's see if the middle innings calm down at all. The way this game's trending, we could be here a while with a few more runs put up on the scoreboard. 1-1. Pippins have scored in every frame. Elks have scored 6, including 4 in the top of the third. I don't think I've been a part of a game quite like this. Of course, at North Platte a couple years ago, I didn't do very many in-game interviews, and I'm so appreciative of Josh Lewin's time to join us. Little flare out to Daichi. He makes the catch in foul territory. One away here in the third. Jordan Ortiz will hit. A lot happened while we were on that interview, though. And a lot has happened since. Ball got lost out from the Pippins bullpen. Now it's returned. I'm just flabbergasted that the bats all came to hit today for both sides. 1-0. Ortiz was hit by a pitch back in the third inning. He was one of the 4 runs that came home to score. With Whitman the last 2 years, Eggy, it appears, has only pitched about 6 2/3 innings. There's a look at the Pippins bullpen. Bass Fry stretching out his arm. Eggy looked really sharp during his stint in Edmonton. 2-1 now. 1 out, nobody aboard, as the Elks have a couple guys stretching in their bullpen as well. Neither starter really had it tonight. Cumming did make it through 3 innings, but he gave up the 6 runs. Kaiser didn't make it out of the second. Nearly got Jordan Ortiz. So 3 balls and a strike. Couple of big innings by both teams so far tonight. I'll be interested when we look at the scoreboard here in about an inning and a half to see who else is having success offensively, if we're an outlier. That is ball 4. It is up against the backstop, but Ortiz taking his time getting out of the box. He will be content with just the 1 base on the walk. Mason Elrod has been on base both times. He drew a walk. He reached on an error. Good luck keeping track of all the things that happen in this game in your scorebook. I feel like we're still destined for more. Hopefully on the Pippins side. First pitch on the ground. This is fair. Daichi stabs it by the bag. The throw to second for 1. Relay on to first. It is in time. Double play. There's a defensive highlight for Yakima Valley. Daichi Furuhata gets it started at the hot corner. Score it 5 on to 4. And then whipped on to 3. Bottom of the 4th we go. A scoreless frame hung by Torrin Eggy in relief.
Who think Hong is the best dressed for tonight? Make some noise. What about Jacob? A little less noise. What about Ryan in the turkey hat? What about Anna? And what about Zane? I think Zane is our winner. Scott T has got a good prize for you, Zane. Thank you for
That is maybe my favorite thrifted piece of apparel tonight. The turkey tie We've got a turkey tie. We've got a turkey head. What a way to celebrate Thrift Night. Scott T picking the winner of the fashion show that they just did down there on the field. That seems to be about the only normal thing happening tonight as we're in a 12-6 game in the bottom of the 4th inning. Jay O'Neill has done nothing but hit home runs tonight. He hit both solo shots back in the 2nd inning, becoming, by my research and by my dad's research back in Nebraska, only the 2nd West Coast League player to ever do that feat. He squares to bunt here and takes a strike on the outer half. 0-1. Pippins have scored in every frame. 2 in the first, 8 in the second, 2 in the third. They just threw a 0 on the board on defense as Jay couldn't hold up his swing. I didn't even get the numbers on the second Jay O'Neill home run because I was so excited that he hit it. So hopefully we'll have the metrics on that later on tonight. 1-2. So many things have happened so far in this game. Jay takes one in near the feet. I'm shifting through the notes here in TrackMan, trying to find the home run. I think I just did. Just a bit outside. Count runs full. Jay's first home run went 354 feet. I had that one written down. The second one came off the bat at 100 miles an hour and went 394 feet. Got an extra 40 feet somewhere in there. Jay's going to draw a walk and keep his perfect day alive to start off the 4th. First pitch, Derek popping it up into foul territory by the first base bag. Elrod on the warning track, bobbles, it's up against the netting, and so it's a dead ball, and it's strike 1. Didn't quite look that one into the glove. Oh, 0-2 now as Almeida swings through that one upstairs. Pippins trying to add another run to their total. Almeida left it alone upstairs. Jay's walk, he did draw after being down 0-2 in the count. He squared to bunt, took a strike, and then took another one. 1-2. Almeida is gone on strikes. There's one away here in the 4th. That'll bring up Garen Guler. Struck out back in the first at-bat of the 2nd inning. His second time he was up, he was hit by a pitch, and that's what forced Trevor Kaiser out of this game. Late swing and a miss by Guerin. Had one in the happy zone, couldn't quite come up with it. 0-1. Boschart in his second full inning of relief. There goes Jay. The pitch is outside. The throw down is slapped down, but Jay O'Neill safe at second. Pippins get a man in scoring position with less than 2 outs. So now a man out there in scoring position for Guerin. Let's see if he can find a base hit. Has been striking out a lot recently. Pippins fans hoping for some results out of Guerin. Went to Natchez. Wave and a miss. It's 2-2. A look back there at Jay O'Neill. Guerin pops one straight up. The catcher Ortiz drifting over. He makes the basket catch. Cole Hubka will hit with 2 outs. Pippins in danger of not scoring in an inning for the first time tonight. I think that's a problem they'll enjoy having after putting up 12 runs in the first 3 frames. Hubka 1 for 2 today, improving on his near 500 batting average for the Pips. First pitch back towards us, right off the facade. Had that been down by a couple of inches, then Marcos and Shea would have ended up with the ball. That was almost perfect. A spin back towards second. And looks to be a balk called by Kyle Sisk. Very frustrated Bend Elks coaching staff going to ask for an explanation. O'Neill is over to third on the balk. Didn't look to be much more than your typical inside move. Sisk will head back out to the field. Still standing over there on the line. Head coach is Alan Cox. He is begrudgingly making his way back towards his dugout. 1-1 now. Hubka hitting with 2 outs. So if you were keeping a bingo card at home with us, you can add balk to whatever square that associates with. Hubka slices it towards the bullpen and into the picnic area. 1-2. So if anybody had 8-run inning, 4-run inning, balk, starting pitcher go less than 3, come claim your prize at the front gate. Hubka now 2-2. I guess the biggest one, if you were a lucky fan and got a bingo card with 2 home runs in an inning, wherever you may be, you may as well just go play the lottery. This pitch bounces off the backstop netting. The flip to the plate. The ball is dropped. Jay O'Neill scores. And the Pippins continue their streak of scoring here in this contest. Now 4 straight innings with a run put up on the board. Boschart's going to want this one back. He pulls a breaking ball, and so after Jay O'Neill steals second and advances to third on a balk, he scores on a wild pitch. And now Cole Hubka faces a full count with nobody on the base paths. Scorekeeper's nightmare tonight. The payoff is high and away for ball 4. So the top of the Pippins order will come up for the 4th time here in the 4th inning. Tyson Miller, single, double, walk. He has scored 3 of the Pippins' 13 runs. They said it's Miller time here in the ballpark. I might need a Miller after this game. A strike called. The throw not very competitive by Ortiz down to Elrod. Elrod was way in front of the base. Just trying to keep Cole Hubka honest over there after his walk. Oh, 1 shot the opposite way. Cahill coming in. He makes the catch. And the 4th inning will be put to bed. Pippins score again. It's now 13-6. We go to the top of the 5th here in Yakima. Top of the 5th inning here in Yakima. Pippins lead at 13-6. Bass Fry into the game for the Pipps, making his 3rd appearance on the season. 2 2/3 innings, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 hits, 3 earned runs, a 10.13 ERA for Bass. He comes in and replaces Torrin Egge, who goes an inning scoreless, giving up 1 walk, but it was erased on a double play. If you're just joining us now, you probably missed most of the fun tonight. Pippins lead at 13-6. They have 10 hits on the board as well. And a large part in that is Jay O'Neill, who has hit 2 home runs tonight. Pippins have 3 of them total. Jay had 2 solo shots, both of them in the 2nd inning. He led off the inning with the home run, and then when the order came back to his spot, he hit another one. And again, by various forms of research right now, we think that he's only the 2nd player to ever do that in West Coast League history. Bass started off the count with an 0-1 fastball. Now the pitch, 1-1. This is Isaac Pfeiffer hitting for Bend. This is their 3rd trip through the order. They sent all 9 to the plate back in the 3rd inning. 1-2 the count. The Elks have 6 runs on 4 hits. They've also committed 1 error. Just a ridiculous amount of offense tonight as this is popped into the stands. Who's going to end up with it? Nobody. It went down to the main concourse. Folks out in right field looking for a K. Cumming retired 4 with a strikeout. Pippins looking for their team 5th. Bass misses upstairs. Here in the top of the 5th inning, we're approaching the 2-hour mark in this game. We were done last night in 2 hours and 19 minutes. Safe to say we're not getting home quite as early tonight. 3-2 the count now. This Bend Elks team scoring 6 runs has to be a positive, but giving up 13 certainly on the negative side. Shot down the right field line, well out of play. Bend looking for their first road win of the year. They are 0-7 away from Vince Guinness Stadium. The Elks 4-2 at their home ballpark, but 1-9 in their last 10 contests. Payoff is popped up into the stands. Will it stay for Ramos? No. And it clangs again out into the open area behind the grandstand. Down by the team store. They better be aware out there. They've got bombs raining in on them. Long at bat here to Isaac Pfeiffer. Bass looking for his first out. He might get it here. Almeida takes a high hop, stabs it, the throw across. Nice play by Derek. That's tough to play that Yakima hop. But he was able to stick the leather up and keep it at bay. Troy Sanders, a late addition to the lineup today after Eddie Alfaro was scratched. 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Ben just looking for any semblance of hope. 0-1 fouled straight back. It's 0-2. Everybody trying to reset. Folks at the Orchard have had a lot to cheer about so far tonight. Bass misses outside. Fastball at 88. Decent crowd tonight. Watches Bass strike out his first. 2 away here in the 5th inning. Pippins looking for their first 1-2-3 frame defensively. There has been traffic everywhere tonight. Maybe it was all backed up thanks to that fire north of town between Sela and Ellensburg. They had the interstate shut down early this morning. Everything seems to be flowing better now, but maybe that's part of it, a traffic backup on the base pads here at the Orchard. Half swing, called a strike. Bass gets into the count 1-1. Say the Pippins might not ever take these uniforms off if they keep doing things offensively like they've been doing. Wore this same combination yesterday in the win over the Elks, 5-2. That fouled at the plate. Might have gotten the shin guard of Henry DeJesus.
Everybody stop your feet.
Will Goodman 0 for 1 today with a run scored. Trying to avoid the Bend Elks order going down 1, 2, and 3. Sebastian hoping for the opposite. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Called, strike 3. Bass lets out a scream of emotion. The Pippins set down the Elks in order for the first time tonight. And we're halfway home here at the Orchard. 13-6 the score. The Pippins lead by 7. Welcome back to the Orchard. The Pippins lead at 13-6 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Taking a look at the first half standings here in the West Coast League. This is updated to include the game that Wenatchee and Edmonton played earlier today. Ridgefield sits at the top of the WCL South at 12-4. They're playing in Portland right now. Springfield down at the bottom. The Pippins trying to get even with the Walla Walla Sweets, who got a big win last night. Wenatchee leading the division in the north, 12-4. Of course, they've got one more game going on right now. Port Angeles down at the bottom. Those scores around the West Coast League. The first game between Edmonton and Wenatchee was a Wenatchee win 9-5. Port Angeles and Bellingham is in the bottom of the 5th inning, 9-5. Bells lead it up in PA. Top of the 6th in Victoria. The Redmond Dudes are leading the Harbor Cats 4-3 in a non-league contest. Down in Springfield, another non-league contest. The Drifters trail 8-1 in the bottom of the 5th. That's tough to see. Bottom of the 6th in Wenatchee in that second game of the doubleheader. 4-1, the Riverhawks lead it. Barry's at Sweets tonight. Walla Walla leads at 8-6 in the bottom of the 4th. Lots of offense there. Down in Corvallis, Nanaimo leads at 5-0 over the Knights. And at Walker Stadium in Portland, top of the 4th inning, it's 3-3 the score between the Raptors and the Pickles. Daichi Furuhata's behind in the count 0-2 here in the 5th frame. Daichi has scored twice today. He reached on an error. He was hit by a pitch. 0-2, a wave and a miss. First strikeout for the new arm for the Bend Elks. This is Alex Figueroa, the senior from Tucson, Arizona. Figueroa, as you have obviously already been able to see, has quite the unique delivery. Bend hoping that that unique arm slot will help throw off these Pippins bats that have put up 13 runs on 10 hits so far tonight. A little bit Trevor Rogers-esque as Velasquez bunts it foul, 0-1. The wind has picked up here at the Orchard. My pages are flying all over the place here in the press box. You can see plumes of dirt flying around the ballpark every so often when somebody moves. And the weather has noticeably cooled off with the wind as well. 0-1, right back where it came from. Nick Velasquez is now a triple away from the cycle. Nick with a good single back up the middle. Something to look for if you're Nick Velasquez as you come up to hit later on tonight. Here's Luis Garcia. He's been a factor in the offense tonight. Sacrifice fly in the 3rd inning, brought one home. He scored back in the 2nd frame thanks to a walk that he drew. Back into the netting, 0-1. It kicks around all the way back towards the field of play. So the bat boy will retrieve it on the foul line and head to the Bend camp for the first pitch after the foul ball. Pipps have scored in all 4 innings so far, as Luis now even in the count 1-1. Figueroa out of the stretch still has that deliberate motion because of how he goes submarine. Heads up. This is right over top of GA. Home plate umpire Henry DeJesus needs a few more baseballs. Weather conditions not in danger of any rain, but slowly deteriorating as the warm day gives way to a windy evening. A throwback to first, no tag applied. Red flag warning is still in effect until 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock tonight, so another 45 minutes on that or so. Garcia watches that breaking ball outside 2-2. And what goes into a red flag warning is high winds and then dry conditions with warm days. A red flag warning is critical fire conditions as there's a strike 3 Luis Garcia down looking. There's 2 away. Abel Ramos will hit now. A red flag warning means that critical fire weather conditions are either occurring now or will shortly. A combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures can contribute to extreme fire behavior. We had that earlier on in the wee early hours of the morning. There was a fire that was burning north of town here. Not much smoke remains in the air. It's a fairly clear day. This pitch swung through. It popped out of the glove of Ortiz, and so moving up to second base, Nick Velasquez. Not a foul ball, so Nick able to move as he pleases. That would likely be a passed ball then. The count 0-1. It has certainly become breezy. Wind speeds blowing north-northwest at 14 miles an hour. Ramos swings through a changeup, 0-2. Gusts are getting up as high as 31 as we dip slowly into the nighttime here in Yakima. 0-2, Abel stays alive as this ball finds a spot down on the Bend dugout. Tomorrow going to be another warm one for Game 3 between these two squads, but the wind is not supposed to be a factor. It's supposed to be about 6 miles an hour and then calm. So it'll be just hot tomorrow, not hot and windy. 0-2, Ramos cuts through it. Figueroa strikes out the side. Big positive boost for the Bend Elks as we head to the 6th frame. Pippins leading it 13-6 here at the Orchard. Top of the 6th frame here in Yakima. Pippins lead at 13-6. We've cooled off a little bit offensively on both sides. Pippins will bring in a third arm from the bullpen as Andre Seifers, who has not been with the team for a few weeks, will make an appearance here out of the pen. Seifers 1-0 with 3 games worked, 5 2/3 innings pitched. 6 strikeouts to 3 walks, 7 hits allowed by Andre, including 5 earned runs rather. 7.94 ERA, but that doesn't really explain how well he's pitched when he's been in. Andre was away from the team briefly, and now back wearing that number 9. Braden Jones, and then the top of the order for the Bend Elks here in the 6th frame. First pitch from Andre, a fastball right on the outside black at 86. Seifers pitched for Yakima Valley College just up the road on Nob Hill Boulevard, 33 innings. Striking out 23, walking 19. He's ahead in the count here, 0-2. Bass Fry struck out the last 2 hitters he saw in that 1-2-3 frame. Andre couldn't quite keep it close. So the count 1-2. Last score that came in this game was in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pippins plated 1. Jay O'Neill scored on a wild pitch. Off the end of the bat, slowly, Daichi ranging into foul territory, reaches out, doesn't have it. Daichi ran a long way to try to grab that, just did not end up with it. That was almost Manny Ramirez-esque, just on the other side of the diamond. Jones went out and grabbed it. Pippins trying to get to 10 wins tonight and be 3 games over 500 if this score holds. 1-2, back up the box. Slowly, Almeida cannot get there. A seeing eye single for Braden Jones. Leadoff man aboard here in the 6th for the Elks. Derek gave it his best shot, but even if he got leather on it, he might not have thrown out Jones over at first. Here's Eli Pupo. 2 for 3. He's got 2 singles to his name. He scored in the 1st inning after reaching on an error. A bunt popped down the third base line, foul. (0-1), Pupo behind in the count. Show of sportsmanship, handing Ramos his mask. Andre tall out there on the hill. 6'4", 215. Wave and a miss, top of the zone. Montana native. You don't see very many ball players from Montana. Andre scheduled to be back with the Yaks next year. Folks in right field looking to hang another K. Seifers brings it. Breaking ball didn't quite drop far enough. Count now 1-2. Braden Jones, decent lead over at first. He reached on a single to start this inning. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The low tonight, weather-wise, is supposed to get down to around 54 degrees. So certainly nothing unpleasant, but if the wind's going to continue to blow the way it is. 2-2 gets through the legs of Ramos. On to second is Braden Jones. The count runs full. We'll see how that's scored, whether it's a wild pitch or a pass ball. Either way, Jones is on to second. The count is full here to Eli Pupo. Payoff pitch stayed downstairs, according to Henry DeJesus. So a single, an advance to second, and then a walk. Two aboard, nobody out. Well, Jones must have been running with the pitch because they gave it a stolen base. Breaking ball drops in. Will Cahill. Was that called ball 1? Let's see a replay here, Shea, as Seifers being looked at now. No, it was strike 1. Wonder what the discussion was between Ramos and Seifers. It was a strike. I think maybe Ramos got crossed up on the pitch that was coming. Not very often do you get crossed up and end up with strike 1. Straight back into the screen, 0-2. This is Will Cahill. He's 0 for 3 today. A fly out, a line out, and a strikeout. Players out there battling the elements as the lights slowly turn on here at the Orchard. Oh, 2 on the ground hard but foul. The Bend bullpen with a new pearl. Probably waited just a second too long to turn the lights on. There's quite a bit of shadow on the field, but they are turning on. So worry not, fans. We will be able to continue this game. Not one of the couple of JUCOs that these guys come from that still don't have lights in the year of our Lord 2026. Another 0-2 from Andre. Left the breaking ball well upstairs, 1-2. Jake Cummings started the game for Yakima Valley on the mound. He went 3 innings, giving up the 6 runs you see on the scoreboard. Torn Eggy went an inning scoreless, getting a double play to help him out. And then Bass Fry went 1-2-3 in the 5th. Here in the 6th, Seifer's in a little bit of trouble as this is shot off the end of the bat. Derek ranging over. This is going to get down. Tyson might have a play at third, but he won't throw it as he and Almeida make a little bit of contact. A bloop single by Will Cahill. And all of a sudden, the Bend Elks have a real threat here in the 6th. Ramos putting the play on for his defense. You see this ball just die. Good base running by Jones over at second to move on to third with the ball in front of him. He could see if it was going to get down or not. Well, now if you're Seifers, you got to limit damage. Pippins up by 7 as Ramos gets a big piece of that foul ball. Coach Crestangel going to go check on him as Henry DeJesus personally takes the ball out to Andre, giving the catcher a chance to catch his breath. Upville kind of been thrown into the main catching role the last couple of days. He says he's okay. Parker Burt dinged up a little bit in the shoulder after an awkward dive back into the first base bag in Edmonton. Ooh, right off the mask. I was listening to an interview with Johnny Bench the other night from a while back, but he said if you get hit in the mask, it's like being hit in the face with a shovel. Good response from Andre. It's 0-2. Ramos not phased, ready to call an upstairs pitch. See if Seifers can find that first strikeout. He's been close a couple times, ahead in the count 0-2 or 1-2. Downstairs, a half swing, but not enough for a strike. Ramos conveying some instructions to Seifers. There is action in the Pippins bullpen. Looks like Gus Musial has grabbed a baseball. Just joined the team on Tuesday. 1-2 sliced over towards the bullpen and out of play. So Andre filling up the zone with a lot of strikes. So far has not been rewarded though, as Musial bounces one out of the bullpen. Folks in right field hoping to hang a K. Bass got 2 of them in the 5th. Andre still looking for that first one here in the 6th. There's a fastball top of the zone for that first K. Elks hitters down looking for the 5th time tonight. Jackson Murphy tried to argue his case there, but Henry DeJesus not going to change his mind about the strike. That'll bring up Jordan Ortiz, the catcher, a man who by now really knows the strike zone. He's been behind the home plate dish in the squatted position for a lot of Pippins runs that have come across. And unfortunately for his starter, Trevor Kaiser, a lot of those hits came from pitches that were just left too far in the zone. That pitch hit Jordan Ortiz. The Elks are going to get a run out of this. That's the second time that the catcher's been hit tonight. Give him an RBI as well. Braden Jones scores. Well, it's back to a 6-run game. Mason Elrod, who is 0 for 2 tonight but has scored, trying to continue to cut into this deficit. First pitch stung out to center field. Jay going to have to run a long way. Is anybody going to get there? Luis slides. He makes the catch. Runners tag from second and third. The Pippins get a second out. Daichi's going to appeal down to second. They touch the base. Out is the call. Leaving early at second is Will Cahill. The Elks dugout furious. A base running mistake by the Bend Elks, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Look at it one more time, and we just got an ejection. The Bend Elks have lost their head coach for the remainder of this game. Alan Cox has been tossed by Kyle Sisk. A failure to tag up resulted in the last out of this frame. Alan Cox is furious. Henry DeJesus trying to calm things down. This is getting extremely heated. Cox still barking things toward Kyle Sisk. Alan Cox still pleading his case. The Bend Elks defense head back to the field, and now Alan Cox will watch the remainder of this game from somewhere other than the field. We're going to take a quick break. We'll break down what just happened when we come back. Pippins up to bat next in the 6th.
Let's see what it is. Higher or lower, folks? Higher again. Oh, and back to a 6. That will bring us back down to 0. But thank you for playing with us, Jason. Guys, give Jake a round of applause.
Welcome back to the Orchard. Pippins lead at 13-8. The Bend Elks get 2 runs as a sacrifice fly plated Eli Pupo, but then leaving early was Will Cahill. The music still playing here at the Orchard as Jay fouls off that first pitch 0-1. So the Pippins still in front. Alan Cox, the head coach for the Bend Elks, was ejected, and we've got a new pitcher in the game to face off against Jay O'Neill, who takes that pitch upstairs 1-1. This appears to be Jackson Ashley from Oregon City, Oregon. Here in only the 6th frame, add somebody ejected from the game to your bingo card, everybody. Tension's getting pretty tight here in Yakima. Figueroa goes 1 inning, striking out 3. 1-2 pulled outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Figueroa did allow a hit, but he did not allow anybody to score. So now Ashley is the 4th pitcher into the game for Bend, as Jay takes one that bends inside. It's 3-2. Jay has this count full. He has 2 home runs and a walk today. He's scored 3 times. Payoff on the ground over to third, underneath the glove of Jones and into left field. Will Jay get the benefit of a hit? We will see. Either way, he's on at first. And yes, it's a hit for Jay. Derek Almeida, 1 for 3. He's got a single way back in the 2nd inning. Feels like forever ago as we get closer and closer to the 9 o'clock hour here in Yakima. Strike at the top of the zone. 0-1. Jackson Ashley, 6'4", 220, the southpaw. Straight back into the screen, 0-2. That ending to the 6th inning was odd because it had looked like everybody tagged up properly, but Pippins immediately asked for an appeal down to second. Kyle Sisk says that the tag was late. Check swing. Did he go? Yes. Almeida rung up by Kyle Sisk in the field, and some sarcastic applause being handed out from the Elks dugout. 1 away here in the 6th. Garen Guler will hit now. Guler today, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a pop out to the catcher in foul territory. There's a first pitch strike to Garen on the outer half. He was also hit by a pitch back in the 2nd inning, but was left stranded at first on a strikeout. Right back into the screen, 0-2. Well, with the Elks continuing to find a couple runs here and there, the Pippins almost need to score a couple more times. Runner takes off at first, breaking ball high and away. Nice strong throw down and safe underneath the tag. Jay O'Neill steals a second base today. Man in scoring position for Garen Guler. Had so many clutch moments in the first homestand that opening weekend. Trying to find one here. Wave and a foul tip right into the glove of Ortiz. Garen down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. 2 away for Cole Hubka. Spin back to second. One disengagement used by Ashley. Trying to get out of a leadoff single in this inning and send us to the late frames. Jay's going to take off for third. The pitch is inside. It's called a ball. The tag thrown down. It is in time. Jay stole second but was caught trying to steal third. Pippins only send 3 to the plate in the 6th. We go to the 7th. Yakima Valley leads it 13-8 here at the Orchard. Welcome to the 7th inning here at the Orchard. It took us a while to get here, but we are finally here. Upcoming schedule for Yakima Valley tonight, Thrift Night. Of course, the 6:35 start. Tomorrow night will be Game 3 against the Bend Elks, hopefully going for a sweep if this score can hold. The weekend down in Salem to take on the Marion Berries before we come back home to play the Wenatchee Apple Sox on Tuesday of next week. A lot of 6:35 starts, a lot of chances to come out to the ballpark. First pitch skips into Ramos, 1-0. Andre Seifers still out there. He's trying to pitch a second inning of work. Bring Dad out to the ballpark tomorrow. It's our Father's Day Dad-a-thon. There's going to be some fun to be had for all the fathers and father figures in our lives. Andre falls down on the mound. The Bend Elks dugout loving it. 2 balls, no strikes. A little bit of energy down in that dugout after the ejection of Alan Cox. Wave and a foul tip. This is 2-1 the count now. Finally in the late innings, though. At one point in this game, felt like we'd never get there. 2-1 breaking ball left upstairs, 3-1. I'm not encouraging anybody to get ejected, but sometimes, just over the course of this game, when people have got it ejected, it sparks some life into the team as there's a wave and a miss by Isaac Pfeiffer. So Seifers has to now battle that as well as the normal battles of pitching. Got a full count pitch here with nobody out. Driven down the left field line, hooking and foul past the left field pole. That ball will take up residence in the parking lot until somebody goes and collects it. Might not have had enough had it gotten to the pole in fair territory. But definitely a hard hit ball by Pfeiffer. Payoff. Called strike 3. Pfeiffer knew it immediately. He had already started walking back to the dugout. Andre picks up his second strikeout of the appearance. Troy Sanders, 0 for 3 today. First pitch drops in for strike 1. Good location by Andre. Pippins only used 2 men out of the bullpen last night. Francisco Lopez and John Witt. Seifers marks the 3rd man out of the bullpen tonight for the Pippins, after Jake Cumming went 3 innings, giving up 4 hits and 6 runs. One and 1 is the count here to Troy Sanders. Sanders has struck out twice, one of them looking, one of them swinging. Pippins have 8 strikeouts as a staff tonight. On the ground hard out towards Derek. Gets a tough hop, and that'll likely be the 4th error of the night on the Pippins. Derek kind of lackadaisically stuck the glove down there, and it bounced up at the last second. E6 for Yakima Valley. Error number 4 on the night. Will Goodman. He's also struck out twice, both of them looking. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning and came around to score. Foul out towards the parking lot the other way. 0-1. Darkness finally settling in here in Yakima. We're under the light power at the Orchard. This game started off extremely hot. Not just the weather at 84 degrees, but Pippins had 12 runs on the board by the end of the 3rd inning. A check down to first. The throw nearly got away from Nick. 1-1 the count. These two teams going to square off again tomorrow. Hopefully we can get through tonight without getting too upset at each other. 2-1 now. Goodman ahead in the count. This umpiring crew, Henry DeJesus, Kyle Sisk, were in danger of losing control of the game for a moment. I think they've got it back. 3-1. Seifers unable to locate here. It's just been a tough game, both to call, to watch, to try to figure out the rhythm. There really hasn't been one. That's strike 2. Goodman stays alive, or rather Seifers, as he was able to get that strike. The count runs full as a trio of police cruisers come in towards the ballpark. This pitch goes all the way to the backstop. It is ball 4 regardless, though. So a strikeout, then an E6 and a walk. Wonder what's going on here at the ballpark. Cop cruisers coming in towards the parking lot area as Ethan Salscheider takes a mound visit. The sirens are now off. There's a whole bunch of people lined up over on the right side trying to see what's going on. Hopefully it's not an injury situation. Hopefully it's something minor. The mound visit breaks up. Pippins have used a couple tonight, and in steps the number 9 hitter, Braden Jones. First pitch pops away from Ramos. Both runners are going to advance. Sanders up to third. Goodman up to second. Likely a passed ball by Ramos. It was upstairs, but there go the police cruisers. Wonder what's going on. Strike evens the count. 1-1. Well, so much for watching the ball game here tonight. Breaking ball outside, 2-1. Still waiting on the official scoring. Here comes another one. Oh my goodness. He goes past the fairgrounds. 2-1, hacked on and missed. That's not a cop car. What is this Wednesday night? Seifers in a 2-2 count with 2 men in scoring position and 1 out. On the ground, this will score a run. Hubka going to send it on to first. There's 2 away. Score it 4-6 on the RBI ground out. Coming home to score is Troy Sanders. Moving up to third, Will Goodman. Back to the top of the order, Eli Pupo. I'm so flabbergasted by tonight. On the ground, this should end the inning and send us to the stretch. Hubka flips it on to first. And despite giving up a run, Andre Seifers works another pretty good inning on the mound. We're going to send it to the stretch. Hopefully there's not too many sirens in the background. We'll be back. Pippins lead at 13-9 here at the Orchard.
We've got Ralphie's manufacturers on the organ, and we have with us today Liam. All right, Liam, and your friend. We're all together. Ralphie, we're ready when you are. All right, folks, good news. We do have some actual baseball getting played here at the Orchard as well. How about your Pippins? Up 13-9 right now. Let's have them send us home, folks. Let's make some noise. We're all getting free tacos tonight. It's a lovely night at the ballpark.
Welcome back to the Orchard. This is probably the weirdest day we've had out here since I joined the Pippins staff. 13-9 is the score. But we've had an ejection by a Bend Elks coach. We've had runs galore. We've had Jay O'Neill, who became most likely the second player in West Coast League history to hit 2 home runs in the same inning. And then in the last frame, we had cop cars circling the parking lot. First pitch from the new pitcher, Diego Lovesey, is a ball. 6'3", 205 from Phoenix, Arizona, Diego Lovesey. Hubka sends it on the ground to third, but foul. Pippins haven't scored since the 4th inning. We're here in the 7th as they lead it 13-9. Folks enjoying the night as it has cooled off to a comfortable temperature out in right field. Wave and a miss by Hubka, 1-2. The Elks have slowly tried to claw their way back into this game, though. They scored 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th to make it a 13-9 game. Cole a half swing. He is down on strikes. That is now 6 strikeouts in the last 8 hitters for Bend Elks pitching. I mean, that's a very impressive number for a pitching start by Trevor Kaiser that was anything but that good. Kaiser went 1 2/3, giving up 9 hits. He gave up 10 runs. All but one of them were earned. Miller squares to bunt, but he fouls it away. 0-1. Tyson today is 2 for 3, a single, a double, a walk, 3 runs scored. Has not hit since the 4th inning, though, as the Pippins offense has definitely calmed down. He's behind now, 0-2. The relievers for Bend, other than Boschart, have been near perfect. Figueroa went 1 inning, giving up a hit, no runs, and striking out 3. Ashley went 1 inning, giving up a hit, striking out 2, and getting someone stolen on the base paths. Ortiz's catcher helped him out. Lovesey fills up the zone again, and down on strikes is Tyson Miller. 7 of the last 9 Pippins have been set down via the strikeout, with only a couple of singles wedged in between. Daichi's going to try to change that narrative. Furuhata is 0 for 3 today, but he scored twice thanks to an error and a hit by pitch. He spins out of that one. Daichi probably disappointed he didn't take the breaking ball on his back. Would have been a 2-out base runner for Yakima Valley. Fight or flight instincts kicked in, though, for Daichi. This pitch, nowhere close. 2-0. A reminder that Game 3 between these two teams will be tomorrow, 6:35 p.m. first pitch. It's going to be our Father's Day Datathon. 3 balls, no strikes. Pippins are on the road on Sunday, which is Father's Day proper, and so we're going to celebrate Dad tomorrow night. 6:35 first pitch. You can get tickets at pippinstickets.com. Bring Dad, bring Grandpa, bring your father figure. Bring the whole family, too, as Daichi draws a walk. You don't have to just bring Dad because it's the Dadathon. But we'll be celebrating Dad a whole bunch. Nick Velasquez has a single, a double, and a home run tonight. He's also drawn a walk. Something out towards deep center field, and Nick might himself ingrained in the history books. Ball 1. You know Nick's going to have a team at-bat approach here as the Pippins lead it 13-9. Do need to find a little bit of insurance as it feels like the Elks are slowly coming back. But wisely, Lovesy is pitching Nick outside, which for a lefty is really hard to pull into the deepest part of the park here. Home run in the first, double in the second. And now Nick behind on strikes. 1 and 2 here in the 7th. Velasquez got a single back in the 5th. How neat would that be to have 2 different parts of history this year in this game? Wave and a miss. Nick Velasquez not going to get his triple there, as 8 of the last 11 Pippins have gone down on strikes against Bend Elks pitching. 8th inning is next. Pippins lead it 13-9. We're going to limp our way to the finish line here, folks, as we continue to go deeper and deeper into this game. Top of the 8th inning here at the Orchard. The Bend Elks trail the Pippins 13-9. New arm into the game for Yakima Valley. Gus Musial joins the team and will make his first appearance Gus pitching the last 2 years at Yakima Valley College. He also spent some time with the Pippins last year, getting 3 innings of work across 2 games, striking out 1 and giving up 1 earned run. Gus, this last season with the Yaks, went 0-2 but had 2 saves. 13 games, 21 1/3 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts, 7.17 ERA, but was used in a couple of high and low leverage situations for the Yaks. He faces 2, 3, and 4 in the Bend order here in the top of the 8th inning. Throws a first pitch strike to start off his 2026 Yakima Valley Pippins campaign. Elks have scored in the previous 2 frames, 13-9. This score certainly feels a lot closer than it is. Tyson ranging down the line. He'll run out of room as a foul ball ends up in the bullpen. He crashes into the protective net trying to keep baseballs at bay down there in the bullpen. Will Cahill will make the long trek back to home plate. Almost had an opposite field extra base hit, a category that the Elks are bottom of the league in. Tyson, can't see him crash into it over there, but I promise you he ran into that netting pretty hard. Of course, he's okay. No balls, 2 strikes from Gus. A little bit too far out. John Witt doing a little bit of warm-up down in the Pippins bullpen. He might be asked to finish this game even if it's not a save situation. 2-2. Pitchers by committee tonight. Both starters failed to make it out of the 3rd inning. Trevor Kaiser shoot away after an inning and 2/3. Jake Cumming made it through 3. Count runs full. Musial been trying to go high and outside, but has not gotten back into the zone. Closer and closer to the 3-hour mark in this game. We started at 6:34. Just staying alive, Will Cahill. It is now 9:15 here in Yakima. I was wrapping up the post-game interview last night at this time and getting ready to start headed home, but we still got 2 innings to play as Musial, after starting the count 0-2, loses Will Cahill to a walk. Three-hole hitter Jackson Murphy, 1 for 3 today with 2 runs scored. Like I said, this score, despite it being 13-9 in favor of the Pippins, it's only that 4-run deficit. And in baseball, you can have a maximum of 4 runs scored at one time. So, certainly, despite having 13 runs on the board, the Pippins not comfortable at their home ballpark. They haven't scored since the 4th inning. Another foul ball out towards lefties. 0-2, Musial works ahead in the count again. But it's been Bend who has slowly worked their way back into this contest, despite giving up an 8 spot in the 2nd inning. Called strike 3. Gus dots the outside. Jackson Murphy disagrees, and he shakes his head on the way back to the dugout. Let's see if that gets Musial back on the right tracks. Jordan Ortiz has been hit by 2 different pitches tonight. He's also walked, which makes him 0 for 1, as now Henry DeJesus issuing a warning to somebody down in the dugout. That might have been Murphy, who just struck out looking. It's been quite a vocal game on both sides, as Henry DeJesus makes a notation. There were some words at the plate. Didn't look too crazy, but now third base coach John Kemp clarifying what just happened with Henry DeJesus. Nobody was ejected. It had to have been a warning. Tell you what, the Bend Elks probably don't want to see this umpiring crew again. Unfortunately, this is game 2 of a 3-game series. They'll have to see them tomorrow. Strike at the knees to to Jordan Ortiz. So as I was saying before the warning was issued, Ortiz 0 for 1, struck out looking in the first, but he's reached the last 3 times, either via hit by pitch or via the walk. Touch upstairs, 1-1. Even count here, ball and a strike. You've got Cahill over at first. Popped up, manageable for Velasquez. He's in foul territory. He makes the catch. That's a result you want to see if you're Gus Musial. Here's Mason Elrod, the last hope here in the 8th inning for the Bend Elks. Elrod is 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded into a double play in the 4th, reached on an error in the 3rd. He scored a run, hit a sacrifice fly in the 6th, but after that sac fly led to the ejection of Alan Cox, the head coach for the Elks, who, when the Pippins appealed down to second base, Kyle Sisk ruled that the runner out there, Will Cahill, had left early and did not tag up properly. Tensions boiled and Cox was ejected. 0-1, popped into very shallow right field. Garcia going to come in at his knees. He drops the ball. Moving up to second, Cahill. They rule that a hit. Luis had to run a long way. Elrod will certainly take that. Pippins didn't want to be charged with a 5th error tonight. Very, very slow dying pitch. Now, if you ask Luis, this is probably one he's going to say he should have had. But the Elks pick up their 7th hit of the night. There's a strike to Isaac Pfeiffer. Oh, well, it was ruled a hit on the scoreboard, but now it is changed to an error. I think that's the right call. Luis would probably tell you he should have had it. So 5 errors tonight for the Pippins. Pfeiffer behind in the count 0-2. He struck out looking his last time up. Let's see if Gus can get him to do it again. A little bit too far down and out. Five errors committed by the Pippins tonight. They lead 13-9. 1-2. Called strike 3, top of the strike zone. Gus Musial strikes out a pair. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Pippins one more chance to build on a 4-run lead, 13-9, heading to the bottom half.
This doesn't have to just be on the field. We're looking for everybody. Dancing queens and kings to celebrate with us.
Welcome back to the Orchard, bottom of the 8th inning. The sun has set beyond the Cascade Mountain Range. Our next telecast of Pippins baseball will be tomorrow, June 18th. The Bend Elks in town for a series finale. Right now looking like the Pippins are going to sweep. They've got to add on a couple more runs here to ensure that. Pre-game coverage will begin at about 6:20 on the WCL Live app and on YouTube. Game will start at 6:35 p.m. Shea, Marcos, and I will bring you the coverage of that one. New pitcher into the game for the Bend Elks, Jared Robles from East Los Angeles, California. First pitch bounces in. I said that wrong. I apologize, Jared. It's Jared Robles. Robles, that 5'10", 195 out there on the hill. Fifth arm used out of the bullpen after Trevor Kaiser only went an inning and 2/3. Garcia back up the middle. Nice pick by Goodman. The throw to first. What a play. A glove gem out there by Goodman. Almost routine out there for Goodman, the shortstop. This is not an easy play to make. Throwing, spinning on the run. One down here in the 8th for the Pipps. Abvel Ramos on the ground, hard over to third. Jones going to come up and fire. Very quickly, 2 away here in the 8th inning. Pippins almost trying to get it onto John Witt for the last frame. Does Jay O'Neill have any fireworks left in that bat tonight? If you weren't with us earlier, Jay O'Neill led off the 2nd inning with a home run. And then later on in that inning, he hit another one. And by some combined research by multiple sources, so far we think he is only the 2nd player that has ever done that in the West Coast League. This is the 21st season of the WCL as he's taking a big hack there to fall behind 0-1. Jay's been on all 4 times tonight. A walk, 3 runs scored, a single, and of course those 2 home runs. He's going to send it foul the opposite way to send the Pippins down to their final strike. John Witt was tossing down in the bullpen for Yakima Valley. We'll see if it's him or somebody else with a, right now, 4-run lead. Oh-2 pitch from Robles. Just high and away. Jay able to stay up there. Federal Way Washington native having the night of his life here as a Pip. 1-2, dropped it in there. Nice changeup by Robles. Pippins down in order in the 8th inning. And we go to the 9th. 13-9, Pippins trying to outlast the Elks. 3 outs to get here in Yakima. Gus Musial remains in the game as the Pippins need 3 outs on defense. It's been quite the time here in Yakima tonight. 13-9 the score currently. The sun just about set completely beyond the Cascade Mountain Range. And it'll be 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Bend Elks to face Musial, who in that first frame stranded a pair, striking out 2. 9 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Bend Elks. 13 runs, 12 hits, and 5 errors for the Pippins. Troy Sanders is 0 for 4 tonight, but he has scored a run. He reached on an error by Derek Almeida back in the 7th inning. Sanders, one of only 2 players in the batting order to bat last night and tonight. There was not a lot of overlap in the starting lineup today. 1-1 sent out to Jay in center field. He's done it with the bat. Now he'll have to do it with the glove. 1 away here in the 9th. Nick Velasquez, it appears, is going to fall a triple short of the cycle tonight. But Jay O'Neill out there is going to be my pick to talk to after the game, making West Coast League history. A pair of home runs, both of them in the 2nd inning. First pitch by Musial to Will Goodman is chopped foul. Goodman today is 0 for 2. 2 strikeouts, but he's walked and he's been hit by a pitch. And he's scored 1 of the 9 runs for the Elks. 0-1, he's down to his last strike. Musial has been used in a closing type situation. This is not a save situation. So even though he has 2 saves in his Yakima Valley Yaks career, he would not be eligible for one in this game. He's just trying to finish it off. 0-2. Back where it came from, off the glove, down into the hole where the pitchers dig their cleats in. How about that? Infield single for Will Goodman. And it went right into the driving spot up on the rubber. That's probably a first. Look at this, right off the glove, and there it is. Braden Jones hits with a man at first. First pitch, high and outside. Ball number 1. Jones today has a pair of RBI, a bases-loaded walk, a ground out back in the 7th inning. He's singled, stolen a bag, and grounded out back in the 2nd. He is ahead in the count, 2-0. The tying run for the Bend Elks is in the hole. You've got the top of the order on deck, Eli Pupo, and then what would need to be a 4th run, which is Will Cahill right now. Now, if the tying run does find its way to the on-deck circle, even in this 4-run game, you could bring in John Witt and he could try to earn a 4th save. All the offense culminating in a tense 9th inning here. Gus Musial on 4 straight pitches walks Braden Jones. Where is the end of the line for Gus, according to the Pippins coaching staff? Top of the order, Eli Pupo. 6th time to the plate for the top of the order for the Elks. They've actually gone through the order more times than the Pippins. Pippins currently on their 5th trip through. First pitch, high and away. Musial has seemingly lost the strike zone here in the 9th. Time to battle back for the Yakima Valley Yak. Two and Salsa might have to make a visit here. Here he comes. trying to settle down Gus Musial. Bend Elks are going to try to talk some strategy here as well. The coaching staff getting together. John Witt pitched last night. He earned the save. It was a relatively clean inning. He got a walk, a strikeout, and a double play, facing only 3 batters. There's the offensive meeting as Alan Cox no longer able to coach in this game. He was ejected back in the 6th frame. Visit over by Salsa. We saw this last night when Witt got a visit. He then struck out the next batter he saw. Actually, it was during that at-bat. He fell behind 2-0, kind of like this, and then ended up striking out that hitter. There's a strike. Good response. He struck out Richie Klosek last night after the visit by Salsa. Eli Pupo. Wave and a miss. Pipps trying to avoid having the tying run come to the batter's box. Right now, that's Will Cahill. 2-2. Lined past Daichi over at third. Tyson will scoop it, and everybody will be safe. The tying run's going to come to the plate for the Bend Elks. Daichi just could not get to it on the line drive, and how much longer is Gus Musial going to stay in this game? John Witt warming up down there in the pen. Pippins are going to let it ride. First pitch missing for ball 1. Will Cahill representing the tying run as a left-handed stick. We've seen a trio of home runs by the Pippins go over that right field wall. The wind has died down, but the power for Cahill still remains. 2 balls and no strikes. Musial having a lot of issues finding the strike zone here in his first appearance. He was able to strand a pair back in the 8th inning. The Pippins are a double play away from ending this game. 2-0, that misses downstairs. A walk would bring home a run and put the go-ahead run in the batter's box. Appears to be a pinch hitter on deck for the Elks. Ball 4. 4 pitches. A man moves down to first, forcing everybody around. And now it's a 3-run contest. Coach Crustangel going to call time as both guys had to make sure they got to their bags. And they're going to call on John Witt to try to end the bleeding here. Musial pitches an inning and a third. John Witt needs 2 outs. The Pippins leading by 3. Welcome back to the Orchard. Anticipatory Pippins trying to watch if John Witt can get 2 outs in this 9th inning. The bases loaded, the go-ahead run in the batter's box in the form of Jackson Murphy, but he might be pinch hit here. Strolling up to the plate, wearing number 39, looks to be Cam Beck. Jordan Rowland, the general manager of the Pippins, coming out as was a fan possibly ejected. Somebody's leaving their seat here at the Orchard. I think we had a fan ejection. Check that off the bingo card. I don't believe this is Brody Whitcomb. I believe this is Cam Beck. First pitch, a strike from John Witt. No balls and a strike. Beck takes upstairs. Interesting that you bring in a right-hander, Cameron Beck, to face the right-hander, John Witt. But Beck obviously being called on here in a clutch moment. He was 1 for 4 yesterday. One big cut and a miss. Tried to tie the game or take the lead actually with that one swing. 1-2. Witt surrounded by Bend Elks. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Blew it by him, strike 3. Beck down swinging. There's 2 away here in the 9th. Last hope here for the Bend Elks. Jordan Ortiz. Time called. Wonder what that was. Henry DeJesus wonders what that was. He throws up the confusion sign. John Witt in a very tense moment. Wave and a miss. You can feel the adrenaline rushing through this place. Pippins dugout ready to explode. Yakima Valley trying to win their 4th season of the year. 4th series, excuse me. 0-1 on the ground. This is going to sneak through into left field. Everybody moves up one station. The game gets closer, 13-11 on the RBI single by Jordan Ortiz. Scoring is Braden Jones. Pippins still only 1 out from securing this victory. The bases are loaded for Bend. The tying run stands at second base. Outside, ball 1. It's 1-0. The Elks gave up 12 runs in the first 3 innings. On the ground, this is going to sneak through again. Tyson up with it. They're going to throw for a play at the plate. The throw in from Tyson. The tag by Ramos. He is safe. The ball is dropped. This game is tied in the most improbable circumstances. Tyson beat the play to the plate by a mile. Ramos just couldn't quite hold on to the baseball. It was a laser to the plate, but Obvel couldn't handle the ball. 2 RBI single by Mason Elrod. And we will have to play the bottom of the 9th. The question is, will it be tied or will Bend have the lead? Pupo scored. Cahill scored. Isaac Pfeiffer, the 9th man to hit here in the 9th inning. First pitch strike. For the Pippins in the 9th, it'll be Almeida, Guler, and Hubka due up before we potentially have to play extras. Tied at 13. Bend looking for their first road win of the year. 0-1 on the ground. Daichi gets a yak hop over his head. Bend's going to send the lead run. Tyson bobbles it. They send him home, and Bend has the lead. 14-13 the score. Everybody stumbling and bumbling that last play. Pfeiffer gets a friendly hop. Turning around third was Jordan Ortiz. He fell down. Tyson couldn't quite handle the ball. And so it's runners at the corners, and the Elks have batted around. (14-13). First pitch a ball from John Witt. Down to Isaac Pfeiffer. Excuse me, this is Troy Sanders. Line drive, took the glove off of John Witt. Hubka gonna send it on to first. It's bobbled. There's gonna be a play over at third. Daichi throws the tag on, he is out, but another run comes home to score for Bend. Mason Elrod crosses the plate. 15-13. The Pippins will need 2 to avoid a loss here in Game 2 of the series. We'll be back for the bottom of the 9th next.
Shortstop, number 16, Derek Almeida.
All right. So it's the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Bend Elks lead at 15-13. The Elks were down by 4 entering the 9th. They scored 6 in the 9th frame to take the lead. Derek Almeida grounds it to third. First pitch out for the Bend Elks here in the 9th. Pippins unable to keep the Elks off the board in the 9th frame. Robles still out there pitching. Malachi Emery Henderson's going to get a pinch hit appearance here in the designated hitter's spot. First pitch strike thrown in there by Robles. Well, it was a scorekeeper's nightmare at the start of the game. It became a scorekeeper's nightmare at the end. 0-1, that missed ball one, 1-1. Malachi's got home run power, but with nobody on, the best he can do is make it a one-run game. Outside, ball 2. Pippins have had their fair share of big innings. 8 runs in the second, but they have failed to score since the 4th. Two, 1, wave and a miss by Emery Henderson. Cole Hubko waits in the on-deck circle. Looking for Malachi to get on any way he can. 2-2, stung out towards left center field, ranging back Pupo. He dives, he made the grab. What a play in center field by Pupo. And that robs the Pipps of extra bases and a little bit of life in the 9th. That's Sports Center top 10 material right there. Pupo ranging and keeping that thing in the glove as he tumbled to the ground. Pippins down to their final out. Cole Hubka, the last hope for Yakima Valley. Pippins have been win one, lose one, it seems like the last 6-7 games or so. One and 0. Wave and a miss. It's 1-1. I'm missing so many substitutions in my scorebook right now. It's crazy. I do know that Brody Whitcomb is now in right field. That is incorrect. That is Beck. 2-1. Pippins just trying to keep this game alive now. Need base runners. Most of the runs in the second inning came with 2 outs, if that's any encouragement. 3 balls and a strike. The top of the order looming on deck, Tyson Miller. The blood is flowing here in Yakima. Hubka waits on a 3-1. The count runs full, and this action pitch will determine the outcome of the game. Hubka trying to draw a walk or get a knock to stay alive. Robles trying to close off a win. On the ground to first. Elrod going to take it himself. The Bend Elks have won a game on the road for the first time in 2026. 15-13 the final score, and this is the definition of a heartbreaker if you're the Pippins. You score 8 in the second inning. You're up 12-6 after 3. And do not score after the 4th inning. Some bright spots. The Pippins did have Jay O'Neill make West Coast League history, becoming what I think is the second player ever to hit 2 home runs in a single inning in the league. You also had Nick Velasquez a triple away from the cycle, but in the end, really the only thing that matters is that win-loss column in which the Pippins find themselves on the wrong side of again tonight. Yakima Valley drops to 9-8. Bend now 5-9 on the season, picking up their first road win. They snap a 2-game losing streak. We'll be back tomorrow night, Pippins and Elks in a rubber match. Until that time, for everyone associated with the Yakima Valley Pippins, I'm Harmon Johnsen, signing off for Shea and Marcos, saying stay safe, have a wonderful rest of the night. We'll talk to you tomorrow as the Pippins and the Elks do battle in a winner-take-all for the series, Game 3. Have a great night, everybody. Pippins fall 15-13. We'll talk to you tomorrow night here at the Orchard.